Hello everyone and welcome to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're watching our coverage of Mountain West Valorant. Boise State is looking to pick up another win tonight, this time taking on San Jose, with both teams looking to head into the quarterfinals coming up very soon. I'm your host, Brenner Barrelette, and joined with me to call all of the action is Rich Rad Pontillo. Oh, and tonight we have a little bit of a roster mix-up for both teams. Both teams bringing in 2 subs, whereas Boise State, this is our returning roster from week 1 of the ECAC, so hopefully we're kind of returning back to something we know, but at the same time, San Jose has 2 subs.
Yeah, there's a lot to unfold here and unpack, really. I mean, the last time you and I actually had a chance to cast Boise State was back when they did have the roster with J-Bald and J-Bag integrated into this. We did see them on Ascent along with Breeze, so we've gotten at least some history with them on these maps consistently. But now going against a team, like you mentioned, San Jose being a top, very well-recognized Valorant squad, having some adjustments to their composition, at least regarding their players, is going to be an interesting discussion point. But you can see the roster that we have here. You've got Calvin D and Skies substituting in for those 2 individuals, and how they're going to be able to synergize going into this pre-quarterfinals match.
Yeah, and as you just touched on, this is our final match before quarterfinals. Out of the 9 teams in Mountain West, top 8 go into it, so it's really who's going to be the one left behind heading into the quarterfinals and who's going to head into the top as we take a look for the event card of tonight of how this is going to be played out. As typical Valorant, this is going to be a 5v5 in a best of 3, as we are not in quarterfinals yet for those best of 5s. Conference title is on the line, and this is going to be round robin as well, with those teams being Nevada, UNLV, CSU, SJSU, Fresno, New Mexico, Hawaii, and Utah State. Hawaii being one of the few teams to beat out Boise State so far. And San Jose is currently the reigning champs of kind of U.S. Valorant, with not really a whole lot of tournaments established up just yet. So they went on to Spain to represent kind of U.S. Valorant. So they're really kind of the big dogs to take down here. So Boise State has a mountain to climb tonight.
And, with this going into, those final moments to see who is that individual that's not going to get dropped out, you really need to focus a lot when it comes to a composition of coordination, communication, and, there's going to be Doc's keys to focus on Valorant here as well that you're going to be showing us in just a moment. But from what we've seen for substitutes that come in that don't typically have the consistent or cohesive synergies, there were a lot of really great strengths when we were watching them in the ECAC. Going into this now, I'm really going to be fixating onto both Calvin D and Skies and how they really work their way into this, because you even mentioned Skies has been only with the squad for about 2 months, so it's a short amount of time that they've been able to work alongside one another to really refine those types of strategies and just understandings with one another so that they can be a very formidable team amongst these 9.
Yeah, and Calvin did start with the team, but then he moved over to the Halo roster, where we've seen him play with that squad again and again and again, as Halo is only the 4v4, whereas Valorant's the 5v5, a little bit tighter-knit group. But now returning to Valorant as that sub that we needed, returning with the team that he used to play with, is definitely something to look forward to. And as you mentioned, keep our eyes on to see how they compare to Jabald and J-Bag. And, of course, the teaser you gave to us of Doxies of new players means they're going to need all the help they can get. So in Doxies for Valorant, and that's going to be flank efficiently, spend and peak wisely, diminish their econ and loot. Of course, you want to take all the guns off the ground you can, and of course you want to dominate angles. If you're defenders, don't need to really peek it, and if you're attacking, make sure to jiggle, peek, and take those when you need it. And these are presented to us by Drop In Gaming, who is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. And to begin your competitive gaming journey, make sure to sign up at dropingaming.com. We're getting ready to jump into our first map, which is going to be Breeze, seeing as both Fracture and Icebox were banned. Boise State very notoriously loves banning Icebox for good reason. It is Icebox of all maps. So first map being Breeze. You mentioned this is a map we've seen Boise State on before. So going up against San Jose, who's kind of that dominating #1 team, kind of not #1, but one of the top like 3 teams across the country. What are you hoping to see from Boise State, especially with 2 subs?
I really am curious to see what the composition is going to be and what agent select they're going to go with, because this has been a very unique adaptation and change going into it. We've lost really the Astra, we've lost the Viper, though in this specific case, Breeze is one of the few where you do still see it because the Viper is just so substantial when it comes to the value that they can bring to this. And you can actually see outright that both are going to have that Viper. And, you know, taking a look at it here, you do have Boise State on this attacking side first to see what they can actually get, defending side first, so that they will be able to, I think, feel a little bit stronger here. They play a very good defensive line from what we've seen previously, but again, it's how these two, Skies and Calvin D, are going to be able to hold their own on this map against San Jose.
Yeah, and this is something that might be a cause of those roster change-up is normally we see Panda on that jet. It's kind of been his go-to operator for a lot of his compositions, and this time with those subs is going to have to swap over and be the Viper player that normally maybe Jabahag or Jabal have to take up, and already a Great Wall is going to come out.
And as we do look to see where they're going to enter in from, nice trade, though, towards that middle position. Shells looking to move in quickly with the Headhunter, does force out the rendezvous back to Archways past Wall, and needs to be extremely careful as this aggression is actually going to come through very, very quickly over by B.
Yeah, strong start for San Jose, already up 2 in this fight. Hey, Skies was able to get at least that first elimination, but was not able to proceed with the rest of the team. Did scout out that Viper pushing on to B, as we did hear the spike plan go down, or at least start to go down. Spray and pray a little bit from Dreammaker through that Viper wall, unable to secure anything, as we only do have the Boise State perspective. Does scout out the one Viper on the other side of that box wall.
And now tosses out the rendezvous to get a little bit aggressive. Peeks the corner, doesn't find the exchange, though, onto John, as you do have Khem getting that elimination, and that will be a first point going in favor of San Jose.
Yeah, those little micro-aim adjustments really costing Boise State. I mean, it's what it's all about in these early pistol rounds, is try to get those nice little micro headshots and just barely able to miss as we take a look at the replay. The rendezvous kind of thrown out to maybe scout out the position, but Boise State unable to land those key shots and loses round 1. But, I mean, this is a best of 3 round 1. This is where you just really want to learn your opponent the best you can. So, Boise State's plenty of time to make this up.
I mean, the biggest thing, too, is because they're going to go into this as an eco, they have to, after this round loss, they're going to play aggressively as a group, grab this orb, and move into this middle position to try and find a flank. But while this is happening, again, we are only able to get this visibility of the Boise State squad. They are most likely posturing over towards that B position. They've not found anybody. There hasn't been any lurking. If they're going to get collapsed on here, you can even see transitioning over towards that window position. Shells is recognizing that they are clustered here.
Yeah, this is the master flank, but San Jose has definitely noticed it by now. Can't see their health bars, so Boise State hasn't taken any damage, but Spike is down. I would assume it's planted on to B based off of where they've seen. We do see the Sova over in that B hallway as well. Boise State knows where to collapse. Already cleared out all of A as well. Trying to collapse from all sides the best they can.
Yeah, they're going to move into this middle position through elbow, but now have to keep a very watchful eye onto Heaven. Gets the pickup, which is huge and necessary for them. But as they toss the rendezvous, they go down with an exchange. Ghost really only committed into this for San Jose, so they have not really committed too much into, as there's a weapon upgrade here from Panda going in with a force buy to try and take this. Unfortunately, they're not able to get much more out of it due to that economic downturn, since they did not get that first round. But looking into this now, Boise State has the opportunity to be able to obtain some weaponry that they can use defensively. You can even see Skies does have that Marshall for those long-range shots to hopefully try and change this outcome and hold some really clever angles to get the early picks wherever San Jose is going to press in.
I mean, Skies with the operator on round 3 is definitely an aggressive buy here. They didn't even buy armor at all, just looking for that one shot. Boise State also really has been strong on the defense for A, whereas San Jose is consistently pushing the B, and already huge aggression having to force out the rendezvous from the chamber on Boise, you can see, but Calvin's going to get first blood.
Viper wall comes through over by that B position again. That's where they've consistently postured to. They feel confident pushing into the San Jose. It's a lot of damage here onto Calvin D. Watching, gets a nice takedown though, despite being so low. Can't look for the heal. And Dreammaker doesn't get the swing with them, but now the weapon picked up, but into the smoke. can't seem to really do anything. They don't get a far enough position forward, and Panda is so far back as well. There's an even trade, and that's a nice recovery here, though, from Boise State.
Yeah, able to keep 2 members alive just helps their econ situation that much more. Or hopefully they... Oh, Skies did even survive with the operator, so they'll be able to buy full armor and just maintain a lot of their money throughout, unless they buy a gun for their teammates, which I believe they did, just looking from the tiny little bottom left of how low their money is. So at least they're being the nice teammate of just, here, I'll provide for you. But they do still have 1 Spectre on their side, so hopefully going to go for a little bit of a close hold with that.
And also just, you know, evaluating how close reaching to these ultimates that they can utilize to themselves. They actually have a Trailblazer coming out very early. There's the Recon Bolt as well, pushing through elbow, so they have this awareness that they are by B. Once again, only the Viper being sought out by window. So now with that knowledge, you can see that there is going to be the Viper wall activated for Boise on that A position by Pyramid. So if there is any aggression forward, they're going to be held off here. And this is a really slow, methodical play from San Jose.
Yeah, it seems the 2 early aggressive pushes from them in their early pistol runs paid off, but now Boise State kind of got on their own aggression, and it's been working out with a good trade coming out from Shells.
The biggest thing right now is the fact that San Jose has been unwavering from their tactic to go to this B position. This is Boise State actually taking advantage of it because they've not really adapted. They're not changing. They're not evolving from what they've done previously. So Boise State has the upper hand by constantly getting this, unless it's just sheer gunplay tactics, as the null point comes out, managing to suppress for the moment as they have to rotate back to this B position.
Ooh, nice flashbang, but is unable to capitalize on it. It's easy there. Close range with the operator is definitely a risky play, but ends up being able to clear it out as the smoke does come out from the Viper, and the spray from the KO able to pick it up as well. Very ballsy play from Skies with the double smoke.
Oh, it was a risk, but it had to be done. They knew where the default plant was. Nasir was able to just line up the shots necessary. The first half went smoothly, but then that second half, they had an opportunity of just following through onto it. But it was a worthwhile attempt, because at that point, you know that they've already seen Panda go down, so Skies has to commit to it and hopes to get it, but falls just short at the end of it. But that's also something to really focus on when it comes to understanding the strategy. You always know exactly where you're going to be planting it. You're keeping very watchful communication and being able to work as a single unit to prevent opportunities like that from Boise State from recovering.
Yeah, Boise State also having going up against the Chamber Snapper, who did bring out his ultimate this time around. Also, you're going to have to watch out for both the Viper and the KO bringing out theirs. Boise State does have their own Viper to counteract, but a bit more commitment onto the B, and even a push down mid from Ropes as well.
This is so forward from Boise. They're playing a little bit more aggressive, which I don't think is a bad thing to do, but I mean, again, the focus here is most likely over towards B. There hasn't really been too much, but actually in middle position, it's left open. So that gives the opening for Door, and they work their way in by Pyramids, and that's going to be both Skies and Panda completely bamboozled and in the middle of 2. But the fact that they are actually playing that forward position helps them for a small margin as Nasi gets 2, and both Skies and Panda go down.
Yeah, able to deny the tour as well from the Chamber, but forces out the Viper. Ult, so still 3-3. I mean, Boise State definitely still has a chance here. Just pushing into the smoke when have classics is probably not the best idea.
They need Dream to get this recon.
I mean, he got it.
They're going to toss it in now, seeing if they can get some info onto where they are into this to push in. Nice couple of great shots. John gets 2, and there's the third, though. Jumps out of the Viper's pit to grab 2. They knew the recon bolt came through, so they managed to get that cleanup. Overall, really, really well played by San Jose, and this is the evolution that allows them to start getting some more opportunity. They finally change it up from that B position over to A, utilizing the middle segment by Pillar, where Boise State has actually not really had too much initial focus. It's always been towards that Caves position by A or taking that elbow area by B.
Yeah, San Jose's just had really the huge econ buffer here, but now Boise State's going to have to go in with a double ultimate commit, having all 5 built up for this round 6 now. San Jose having a 3-round lead. John Hamm even getting first blood against Skies, denying the knives. Huge commitment.
Oh, no.
Even had the vulnerable and just burned down to 1 HP.
The Viper's Pit lands perfectly on top of that null point, getting so much damage here to prevent that Tour de Force from getting any value, and that's such an early loss here for Boise State. Now with the 3 remaining, Calvin D has to step up big. Does still have 1 guiding light and the Seekers, and will actually commit it. They're looking to gain intel on where 3 specifically are, tossing that into the corner to hopefully get a flash onto someone. Panda rotating, and Hunter's Fury even a lot committed into this to work around that box, but there is just so many staggered that San Jose is going to play their corners perfectly. Wallbay from Dreammaker does get 1, but this is still such an uphill battle.
Yeah, and with 7 health remaining, a single bullet through the wall will be the doom of Dreammaker, who was able to at least take down the Jet for the side of San Jose, but still 3 members remaining, and John Hamm getting multiple kill eliminations in each round has been hurting Boise State. They just haven't had an answer for him yet. I mean, he's just been consistent with his gunplay with his hands on this Vandal.
And as we do enter into this next round, this should be a little bit more of a comfort since there is some investment that can come through by Boise State. Curious of how much they'll be able to work with. A little bit of a prevention here from Panda, who does grab and pick up the Sheriff. Now from the opposing side, you can see that Shells is going to keep over by that B position, which, again, having 3 there is, I feel, the better opportunity. But again, there's this lack of control in mid that really concerns me for Boise State.
Yeah, it seems Boise State has worked out with the Sheriffs before. We did see that last week for them when they were in the ECAC before they were eliminated. But Sheriffs can definitely work out. Ooh, big push through mid, taking a lot of poke damage as well. But they're still going up against the Knives and the Hunter's Fury of San Jose. So they're also trying to just bait that out. Does throw out the Hawk and brings out the Dog.
Looking to see if the Trailblazer can get anything. Long flash comes through. Panda has to flee to make sure they are not picked up. Great intel gain, but as that happens, once again, denied in vision. Shells able to remove this KO, who has been successfully getting so many gun trades, but now as San Jose has only 3 remaining, this wall is active. Great shot by Shells, picking him up in the back line, and this huge crossfire gets denied by Shells, finding a 3rd, and they managed to get the defuse on a round that was not as strong weaponry-wise, and getting a couple of great pickups for them to save on this eco, and that they can make sure that they have multiple rounds ahead of them gaining value.
Yeah, I mean, that elimination onto John Hamm right here was a fantastic shot by Shells, then quickly getting the refrag for his teammate, taking down Khan, and Panda finishing off the chamber was phenomenal. And now Sky's going back to the operator, but this time only having light armor. It's definitely a riskier play, especially going up against the Hunter's Fury and the Knives of San Jose, but they've been holding on to it for a couple rounds now, so maybe the commitment might come out. Viper also has Hurl to defend for Boise State, so some options coming alive, but Boise State finally able to end the win streak of San Jose is a huge for them, because San Jose was on a 5-round win streak. They just have the momentum going.
Yeah, with this first round half, it was really, really dominated by San Jose. But
Knives came out.
You can see the daggers, yep, going to get 2 here. Khan doing such a great job with it, entering into this, and now even going to maintain a great position on that Hall's position. So underneath, Calvin D, along with
2v3 situation, still definitely doable.
Oh, that flash.
Ooh, down to 30. Still survive, though. Very lucky. Is suppressed, and the Viper's Pit's going to get both of them to panic and run into the sideline of Nashi on that KO. Clean communication on the engagement with the utility usage just caused him to panic, and he got the shots on.
And that's something that has been a little bit more formidable, at least from San Jose, which is why we see them being such a top-performing team. They really understand the usage of their kit and how that they can get a lot of angular positioning to benefit in these choke points, especially when you're in a door like that. You toss the Viper's Pit out, it forces you to have to either play aggressively or backpedal into an unfavorable trade. And now at this point, with it being a 6-2, the Viper's Pit committed over by Boise State for B. They will secure this side and really just need to make sure that nobody moves through that tunnel position from middle and watch these caves, which I do like this forward position from Boise State. Oh, wow.
She will get first blood against Calvin, with Panda picking up 2 more, but will get taken down by Khan. Viper's
You need
still
a lot
alive
of
for San
movement
Jose
here.
is the main target because they've just been the highest output of the DPS for the side of San Jose. So in the 3v3 situation, Boise State, they're the defenders and they're still playing very aggressively.
Yeah, they're taking a really, really wide flank right now. And again, it's going to be a challenge because you only really have the Ghost here for Skies. The plant has been down. The recon bolt comes out, so you have to hesitate even further. And you know that they're going to be holding these angles. Window covered at least by Dreammaker to launch out that recon bolt for intel. Nice trade, though. Shells utilizing that weapon upgrade to their advantage that they gain by the pickup. Now they grab another, but Khan comes in with a quick two-piece.
Ooh, nice.
They don't check their flank for Dreammaker, but the second they go for one, there is a John Ham be able to smoke you for that last few. I tried to make that work. Smoked ham, smoked.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I mean, but Khan with this positioning was just so good. He was right at the tail end of the wall where he could just peek right around it and get it if he saw anybody of their elbows swinging out wide and just sprayed to the left and got two of them. So great position by San Jose, and Boise State having to full buy once again is on the edge of just being broke unless they can come out with a solid win here. Even going to bring out the tour for the chamber.
I'm curious if they're going to want to hold it into a round later, since you do have Boise with a decent buy here. They're feeling comfortable in the middle position, though. A lot of utility tossed into that heaven position. Dreammaker's got to bail, but that for sure puts a disadvantage for San Jose with how much they've already committed, but they've still taken up Panda, and that's B-side completely open.
Yeah, San Jose loves their B side. They've only pushed A at most maybe twice, but again and again and again, it's been B. And we even saw the KO was even spotted over in elbow, and Boise State did not try to make their rotation to try to collapse on him because they just had no presence on B.
Oh, that was a nice snake bite to come through and separate two. Nashi is such a huge factor for this team.
Oh, he gets it through the
what a
smoke
shot
wall.
through the wall. Just beautiful sightline found amongst the darkness. Because now it's a 3 versus 2. Boise State, again, still playing behind at this point. Really needs to use this tour de force to their advantage. Shells gets the second, but gets taken down. This rotation from Dreammaker comes out just too late, so they don't get the reinforcements necessary.
Yeah, John Hamm trying to close off any of the rotations, or Dreammaker trying to close off any rotations that John Hamm might have come out of, unable to find one, but Soul Survivor and Boise State's falling very far behind now, losing that round with now a 6-round difference between these two. Boise State's definitely having a rough time. San Jose is showing why they've been the #1 team and why they went to Spain to represent the USA in Valorant.
I'd love to just see Boise State at this point just take one or two, both these rounds before we swap into the half. Just give them that little bit of extra closure between this 8 and 2, because when they take the swapping sides, Boise State on the attack with how they've managed to play a little bit more aggressively might lean into their favor, as they will have 3 maneuver towards this elbow position. But as they do so, it's unfortunately going to be an A site position, but the value comes through by Skies at least getting one with this Marshall. Can't actually get that fast enough, so they do have information that they're still behind this yellow box. Shots continuing to come through, and San Jose now is in a little bit of a scramble because everyone from Boise State has finally arrived.
Yeah, and Khan even brought out the knives and missed all of them as Panda gets it through the smoke, I believe, but a huge collapse from Boise State on this site. Throwing down the second wall, Viper Pit is down for San Jose. They're just on a hunting mission as Hyder picks up 2, making that 3 against Boise State, getting overly aggressive.
This is such a difficult position, because your vision is so obscured with the Viper's Pit, with double walls, and this completely gets turned on its head. What a play! All 3. Dreammaker, you come in clutch. Unfortunately, it's not able to gain the round win, but you just gained a little bit of our hearts.
Yeah, I mean, he closed the gap in the econ for sure.
Yeah, that flick play was nutty. I think we're actually going to get a full visibility of it here. Just coming out this doorway, free firing.
There's one. Oh, no, he cut it out at the tail end.
Still, just that reactiveness is something I love seeing from Dreammaker, because that's what we actually had before, back when we saw them on Breeze previously. They are such a great Sova player, and really has just heads-up responsiveness to these types of positions with this gunplay.
Yeah, well, guys, once again with this operator has only been able to pick up, ooh, down to 10 HP and gets cut off by the Con, but Battle of the Jets in mid doesn't go in the way of favor of Boise State, but they did get a lot of info that San Jose's solid push mid. The KO ult will come out as well. Recon Bull over on A. They're going for another A push, bring down the wall, and Silva picks up one. Khan gets a second.
Nice
finally
angular play here. Kondo is going to get a lot of stacks, rotating in the back position. When Boise State attempted to try and change into that back long position to try and recontest onto A, there was just so much momentum forward by San Jose from that middle position, and just specifically Khan, who was really, really quick to get into that back line, finding and putting such an unfavorable position. But now as we take the swap of sides, it's Boise State on the attack pistol rounds. I really would like to see a rush of 5, which you can already see stacked towards this B position, and going to try and do the same with the same success as Jose.
Yeah, they're all stacked up in the B lobby looking. Do you think it's better to push on B main or elbow?
I mean, the risk you run with going down B main is that there is such a distance to cover, and you can play those angles. But when it comes to elbow, if there isn't mid coverage from San Jose like we've seen from Boise, I actually think that's going to lean into a little bit of a better opportunity.
Ooh.
Scott, oh, but as I say that, everyone is waiting for it.
The headhunter
so it's a
getting
trade
a double
with a double headhunter. Yeah.
I mean, Sky's down to below half HP, and with the other Sky, the actual Sky, getting eliminated, that's no heal. Boise State having to go for the full rotate. Didn't lose the spike, thankfully, as it was on Shells on that chamber the whole time. Full rotate over to A. Hopefully San Jose has recognized that just due to the lack of presence from Boise State, but have to wait and see how well they've been spread. You can see where the Viper wall was placed down.
Oh, look at that spray damage in the back, just hiding behind stairway, so you have such minimal positioning. The decay from the toxin gets them so low. Sky still survives. Actually get the shot despite them being so low. But Boise State right now is such at a health deficit. Taking these trades is going to be so challenging, but Dreammaker, that's
I mean,
why
they got
it's
the
your
spike
name,
plane
friend.
down. He just has to hold it now.
Making dreams come true, looking for the wall bang, can't find the value, don't push out. They unfortunately cannot manage to get there in time. And the spike, unfortunately, not being planted, can't get the recontest. And you will now have it be a 11-2 scoreline with San Jose in a very dominant position, because we get into this now long run discussion of the economics. Round 1 in favor of San Jose. They get a decent buy. Now when it comes to Boise State, this is a forced buy here. They cannot get a full buy, and they aren't in a position to allow them to go into an eco, because it's basically going to be then a match point position. So this is their final moment to really get some kind of momentum on this attack and focusing again towards this B position.
Yeah, hopefully they don't immediately run into... They do! San Jose has always had at least one member on elbow, and this time it was Khan, and dealt a lot of damage to Skies. Will end up getting healed up, and the Hawk even landing on his own teammate, gets taken down by the KO. But Boise State with a good return, trying to push on to B, and gets quickly eliminated all around with only the chamber remaining.
Shells alone in the back, unfortunately eliminated.
Literally
as
cornered.
Now, yeah, literally. Shells in a corner. Shells corner Shells.
He was spraying shells in the corner and couldn't land them.
That's okay. That's okay. And now this is just a dire stretch. You had to take the risk of a force buy, so you're having to work once again with another force buy, and it's going to just be really all in San Jose's court, because they've got so much economically to use. They have the previously dominating gun round because they won the pistol, and it's just going to be Boise State managing to pull out a miraculous round, or just having to, at this point, look to that next map.
Yeah, and with the next map being Ascent, it is definitely one of their more comfortable maps in this situation. So hopefully we can see them have a much harder stand here. But this map isn't over yet, so still have some faith in Boise, even though they do lose Shells first.
Oh no, they get the flank with Khan just behind. They maneuver through that cave's position up, but there's at least a couple of yeah. That was a hope. That was the opportunity to potentially get a couple of gun pickups, and now Dreammaker all alone in this. So this will be San Jose managing to take this first map, but As you commented,
Huge.
Breeze not as strong. What we've seen historically from Boise State, it is a map that is a little bit more challenging for them. Not that they haven't won it before, but going into Ascent, which is a more comfortable selection for them, could definitely be something to push them into this position of where they can get these back-to-back maps, because again, this is a best of 3. But it's also just this evaluation of, Skies and also Calvin D. I think that they played well. The biggest thing is, I think, just maybe some communication, because there was a lot of agent stacking. There wasn't as many angles being covered or as many positions being overviewed for where San Jose was going to push in. And once they start getting those swings, or once they start getting that lineup, you're finding 2 down more often than not every exchange.
Yeah, so hopefully we can see them tighten that up ever so slightly. But Boise State is always looking for talented players, production, and broadcast talent. Top-tier talent, along with good grades and eligibility, can earn scholarships as well. Make sure to sign up today by visiting boisestate.edu/esports for more information. Come join us. Come have a good time. Maybe you can join our Valorant team and help us take down San Jose.
Trust me, if I was back being very youthful, I won't say my age, but I'll say that I'm older and back in my youth, to be able to be in a place like that you are right now with that lovely new desk, by the way. I really like that
The
you
V-shape,
repurposed
yeah.
it. It's very, very clean looking. So for those really interested, I would highly recommend it, because it's a pleasure.
I mean, you
being
still have
able
to come and
cast
sit on the
alongside.
desk because you owe
I
Doc
know.
dinner. So
I know, I do. I
just
really,
got to keep
really
hanging
do.
it
It's
over
long
your head
overdue.
until you actually come and do it. So
It's okay. It's
Someday.
just it's like the Mario. It's like the Mario guy in the cloud with the little fish line. Like, that's kind of just what you're doing. Like, I think it's a fish line, right? I'm pretty sure, something like that. That's
he
gonna
holds the
just
camera on the line. Yes.
yeah, yes. There we go. Just keeping an eye on me. But as we waver away for a brief moment, let's take a look now at the methodology when it comes to Ascent. Again, the biggest thing that we really noticed that was very, very strong for Boise State was when it came to their post-plant positions on the attack and their defensive reads, specifically from tree and over by that initial doorway position. Middle coverage is where in Breeze, I think, was the biggest struggle. So that's also a really, really high point of focus that I'm going to have going into Ascent, because that middle coverage is going to be substantial, especially if we're going to want to see potentially either Dreammaker or Shells want to be holding on to this operator and utilizing that to their advantage to make sure that nobody can get value from the attacking position if San Jose continues to play as lucratively as they have already shown in Breeze.
Yeah, well, as we're waiting to load into Breeze, we are going to throw it to a quick break, as these players need a little bit of a timeout to kind of regroup from that San Jose really dominating first map. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Boise State Game Panther Arena. We are continuing our coverage of some Mountain West Collegiate Valorant. We are in the final week before the quarterfinals with Boise State taking on San Jose, kind of the reigning champs of the Valorant situation. As I am your host, Brenner Berlad, and joined with me to call all of the action is Rich Rad Pontillo. We just saw San Jose take a win on map 1 of Breeze. Pretty dominating performance with Boise State only able to win 2 rounds is a pretty hard loss, so definitely need that break to kind of regroup and bring things back. With Ascent being our map number 2, map Boise State has put a ton of time into, and we've seen and casted it a ton. So what are you hoping to see them capitalize on? Because you touched on how the control of mid has really been the mainstay of it. So continue that conversation for us.
Yeah, I mean, again, for those that might have just been away before hearing it or coming in now, that middle control was really struggling for Boise State in Breeze. Now, the unique difference between Breeze versus Ascent is that you're talking about sheer square footage and also obstructions within that map of Breeze. You have the pillar, you have that elbow position, so there's a lot of things that kind of make it a little bit more challenging to really keep an eye on in that middle position. But when we talk about Ascent, there is just that open space. The garden itself doesn't really have anything to really block sightlines. The only thing is up in that backline position where that box is, that a lot of either jump peeking or jiggle peeking will occur when you're on the attacking side, because you know that somebody is going to be holding that mid position, because it is such a long sightline for an operator, for a marshal, for a jet, any of those that can be utilized to really hold and prevent those clean rotations, because then it forces the attackers to have to take wide backline positions all the way to that A long or B position. And just curious to see how Boise State is going to utilize that to their advantage. And then also in the same regards, how is it that they're going to potentially punish San Jose when they find themselves in the defense? So it's a really key focus for me, because I think that a lot of teams can struggle understanding that ebb and flow and control necessary of that position in the map.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that pressure might land onto Skies or Shells, who have been the main snipers of Boise State, to hold those long angles. Skies with the operator got elimination here or there when they did buy that operator, when Boise State had to go for that full buy, but they never had the armor to support it, which led to them getting eliminated a lot of the time. And then with Shells, able to get a lot of elimination with the tour on that chamber, and a ton of value, being the last member alive again and again and again. So hopefully here on Ascent, maybe they'll change up the roles, maybe different agents here. Well, definitely different agents, because we're not going to see a Viper here on Ascent.
Well, the other thing that's most likely rising to power in this is that specifically we look to see it with the Omen. Omen has really been the alternative that we've had transition into this. The Astra has basically fallen off. The only time that we really ever see it is if it's a composition that wants to work specifically around that utility and working with it, because even in the VCT that we've been watching right now, for those that have been keeping track of upper level competitive, Ryokovic is only really seen 2 teams that have synergized with this Astra, and even then it still really doesn't bring the success that we've seen consistently with more of this rush aggression type of composition. But my focus here is with this final selection, you can see in the agent select, Calvin D gonna bring out the Sage. This is different from what we had previously. It was the Sova, which is the mainstay, Chamber Jet of course as well with the Omen, but it was previously the Sky that was rotated in with this composition versus the Sage. So you get that resurrection, you get that wall coverage, you also have that slowing orb that can really zone off and cause tension into these certain choke points to prevent the free passageway from certain angles. So I'm curious to see how that is going to also be worked into this, because we saw J-Bald be a very dominant factor when it came to some control and also intel gathering that the Sky typically brings.
Yeah, and also to talk about the San Jose roster, they're bringing in a Cypher, which is someone we have not seen pretty much all season. So maybe it's just the San Jose trick of they really know how to play him very well on this map outside of the meta, which is how they kind of confuse the enemy team. Whereas Boise State's, as you mentioned, just really sticking tried and true to what they know well, rather than just preferring the Sage to the Sky. Yeah, but these early rounds are really going to be the main determinant of how this match might go, especially with how much pressure Boise State is putting into mid. They're taking your advice to heart and just going all mid.
Yeah, the other part of it too is because you're essentially having to also evaluate what you're gaining for what you're trading. So typically the Killjoy is the option that we've seen instead of this Cypher, or alternatively even using a chamber in and of itself to kind of fill into this role. Dreammaker gets a great pick though onto KM, who is playing a really forward. Nice opportunity to take that advantage, and Panda's going to also maneuver there through that tree position, getting these couple of peaks, jiggling out to make sure that they aren't overly exposed. And I would like to see the rest follow through on this, because there is intel that the Cypher is managing this B position.
Yeah, so Boise State pretty stacked up heading into tree. Will run into Khan, who is able to pick up Skies, but Panda gets the refrag for his teammate. It says a lot of bullets coming through the smoke, but Boise State is able to get onto A with the spike, so it will go down there. They have control of Hell, have yet to place a member up into heaven, and that will cost it with Nashi coming in down, able to pick up one onto Panda.
Yeah, Dreammaker down underneath, and you've got Heaven occupied by San Jose, who is now starting to change the outcomes here. But Dreammaker just
swing.
Sneaky and really great chance. But there is a last moment of effort as San Jose can't get the final takedown onto Calvin D. And that's going to be a morale boost here, taking this pistol round and utilizing this momentum so that you can have Boise State take an early lead on this map, which again, as you commented and I have reviewed before, a more dominant map selection.
Yeah, having control of Hell when Heaven is pushing you hard is exactly why you want to push that A position, take control as quickly as possible. The rotation through tree was pretty brutal. They did end up losing 2 members on that push, but able to come away with it, and will end up being able to full buy here with Armor and Spectres. Even a single Bulldog coming into this, but with Smoke committed to that intersection in the mid, and even scouting out, I believe that was the Cypher now stuck in the corner. Boise State could push that and try to get the elimination here. And they do.
Nice pickup. Yeah, at this point, Boise State's going to take full advantage of it. There's no real way that San Jose can counteract this unless they get some really clever outplays for either positioning or lurking. But with how Boise State's playing, where they've got this chamber, manning that B position, also having Panda with this wide back angle onto the A long position, there's no way that they can really do this. So as long as Boise State plays this methodically, moves in towards this A position for an easy plant, this shouldn't really be too much of a challenge to take this.
Hopefully not famous last words for Boise State as they lose another member, now even 3-3 with Khan with the Sheriff able to take down Dreammaker. Panda throwing as many smokes as he can, is able to scout out John Hamm in heaven and take him down, as well as the Khan behind the boxes on the side. Hey, so Calvin's going to have to throw it on the wall to cut off tree, take a little bit scouting from the recon ball, able to deny and get Spike Plant down, but shelled with the Bulldog, finishes off Hyder, and that's round 2. Boise's on their first win streak ever.
The one downfall, unfortunately, is that Khan still got a lot of value. There were some really great eliminations, so the economy can't carry as many weapons over, but this is still the right direction. Boise State is finding themselves in a position of power, and the real question now is, how will San Jose be able to compete against them now? Because they have the econ after getting the few eliminations and also saving that round to come out defensively with a lot more firepower.
This time I'm going to go for the B push. No spray through the wall from San Jose. Hey, so that means no Ares much. A little bit of bullets being exchanged through that wall. All right outside of the B lane, but a lot of smoke being committed. Sky's not dashing in just yet. Of course, as soon as I say that, they go for it. Even activate the switch for the door as Nashi picks up that elimination with the Phantom this time around. But Panda's going with the Sheriff looking for one. Khan takes down Calvin D. Unable to clear here. Boathouse just yes. Khan picks up another. Panda's finally able to get one. Tries to go for the gun, but is getting way too much pressure applied to him as Dreammaker comes in with the ball. Take down Khan. John Hamm gets one with the Vandal. Seems it's all down to Panda, who didn't really have the health to sustain.
And this is one of those unique variables. If teams aren't ready for the Cypher, those trap wires are really going to get you. If you're not used to playing against it, that's what happened on that entry when it came from that jet play. Instantly got tagged in the smoke. Your hyper-aggressive duelist is going to be shut down and sought out so easily because the second they went into Boathouse, that high ground position where Door was through Pizza was going to be easily exploited. And that was just the domino effect where there was no way for Boise State to recover.
Seems the single Cypher pick has really thrown Boise State for a loop now that he's been able to come online and have the guns that he needs. As the daggers do come out for the side of San Jose, and she misses them all. So Skies gets the elimination, but will get wallbanged by the Chaos. Panda gets the refrag for his teammate. Boise State still +1 in this fight.
Yeah, nice composure there to withstand that because those dagger refresh could be so overwhelming. And Panda's actually going to take the darkness and shift it over to B. Shadow Step now available as well for them to utilize as they have the dark cover to hold this angle. And this is a great adaptation from Boise State, allowing them to get this point presence and dominance.
Ooh,
Intel as
scout.
well being gained onto the Cypher. San Jose, 3 versus 3 at this point. Boise State is in the advantage as long as they can deny this information being gained. Panda has to flee, and Jeon manages to get Dreammaker. This is starting to look dire for them, and Calvin needs to just hold these angles.
Ooh, able to take on the Cypher and the Sova.
Job.
It's 2v1, just the Omen now. John Hammond is able to get one, finishes out with the triple, and Panda closes it out. Boise State trying to hold on here, really coming back on ascent right now.
Yeah, that was essential for Calvin to get those. And again, swapping between that stairway plus that high ground position with the Cypher cage. That Cypher cage actually didn't help them because the Cypher cage was so far out. It creates that concave dimension where the Cypher has really only one point to come out of to try and contest because the cage wasn't dropped in the closeness to the wall. So I really like how Calvin was able to read that in the moment and know that there's no way that they're going to find an angle unless they absolutely jump out and drop on me. So they get the first pick onto the Omen and then swing hard onto that small, narrow position to where they can take the advantages. Now they go into this one with some early intel again with the Owl drone, and Boise State might not look to stay by this A position and need to cover their flank, though.
Yeah, they're getting a huge pinch in lobby right now. Oh, and with the Cypher behind them, hopefully not setting up those tripwires because that could mean they have to commit to A right now. Is able to scout out the Jet in the corner and gets it, as she did end up having to swing that angle just so she wouldn't be stuck there. But Boise State now onto site, and Spike Plant should go down, having to take control of Heaven, loses Dreammaker in the process, unable to get the refrag just yet.
Hyder still up top. Snashy gets one through the wall bang. Eliminated as well by this Marshall that comes out of nowhere. Calvin sitting duck underneath. All we have to do is see San Jose look to get this tap. They have to try and aggress out to this. That's half of it already. They need to do something. Unfortunately, won't be able to the second they step out. The high ground is there, and this is now San Jose managing to finally start closing the gap by just only a one-round deficit.
Yeah, both teams were almost full by there. The Marshall was definitely a surprise, but they brought it back nonetheless. So Boise State's still holding on to the reses where, well, putting your Sage in hell with no teammates to even res is probably not the best idea, especially when they had the res in that space. But Boise State just got collapsed on so hard that they didn't have the opportunity to leave it and try to go for the res. So hopefully we might see that come out here. But the Hunter's Fury is also online. Boise State did commit the daggers last round and was unable to get an elimination from it. So this time it seems they're just going to go for pass round and not buy at all. But
Con plays hyper aggressive by A and gets 2, and now Boise State needs to really cover their flank. Shockbolt comes in, gets shells for a lot of health, but they do have at least the heal orb to top them back up. And with these pistols,
so grouped up.
They're just looking to try and at least hinder some of the eco that San Jose has, because they are in prime position with their guns and the number of value that they can bring into this.
Also, something to note is Boise State does not have their hands on the spike, finally able to pick it back up, which I don't believe is an audio cue for San Jose, but, I mean, not having the spike the whole time, ooh, does get the ping from the mid. It's just
they're
so
making sure that
slow
they're
and
checking the
steady right now.
corners.
Have to check every
Yeah.
angle because a single member could easily dismantle this push and give away where they're pushing to even. And even the ultimate orb not being picked up might be a sign that San Jose is trying to bait them out. Doesn't seem so just
They're not
yet.
gonna have
Pretty
to.
aggressive push, dashing in as well. Shots being fired, unable to secure the Cypher, but gets the Jet instead. And just like that, push is over.
Worthwhile attempt, but unfortunately, when you're only coming in with a handful of pistols, it's a round that you feel you have to give up, as it is a 3-3 scoreline now. Boise State feeling a little bit more confident. I'm curious if they're going to go for a force buy here. They do have at least the Vandal in hand. Actually, they do have a solid buy. Okay, so it's really only going to be the chamber play that doesn't, but they'll have that tour de force online that they can use. And again, you cannot have that tour de force be lost early, as we saw earlier on Breeze.
Yeah, it's going to be one. It's the same thing whenever the Jet brings out the daggers, is you want to at least get one before it is lost. And we have yet to really see that on this map, as it is the first time the Tour de Force has come out. But we haven't been able to see San Jose really use their ultimates yet. Just Boise State. They've still been holding on to the Hunter's Fury and the Resurrect for multiple rounds now. So I would like to see those committed if they can get the spike plant down, or even to get it planted. Could have used the res last round to have those 4 members when pushing A, because they did go right over the Omen's body.
Yeah, they're more wanting to utilize their ultimates in exchanges that they can find favorable. The previous one being a pistol round is such a high risk, and I think that they hold it into this one where they're going to hyper aggress onto this, and you can just see that the chamber's going to hold this long angle onto Booth in the back, so they have full visibility of A. Sky's even got some early intel as well, knowing that there's the one at least on B, but they're not able to push into this, and they're just scared to do what they've done before, where Skies jumps in because that trap wire is most likely between that wall and boat, or to this inner left doorway.
The chamber had the sideline onto John Hammond, was unable to get it even with the Tour de Force. You did hear the one shot being fired, but Boise State's running out of time. They need to get aggressive, and it's going to cost them 2 members. Able to get the headshot midair was a nice show, though, for Panda, but they need to clear out Boathouse as the Sova is there, but couldn't even check the angle. It gets taken down by Khan, and San Jose very close to a flawless, only losing the 1 member.
Yeah, they played that really, really well by B. They had multiple angles covered. They knew that there was a focus over by this position, and even with that from the shadows that came through by Panda getting 1, it was instantly taken down after the dark covers come through, and by the time they transition down to the B area, there's 1 in archways, there's 1 in corner for B, and then you still have a flanker towards that spawning position where there's just so much that you have to deal with when you've lost already that many.
Boise State losing their...
Also, I would really like to try that gelato. I'm sorry. I really, every time I see this, I just want gelato. I really do. Even though they look creepy and kind of like
undead
spawn of tendril, like octopus thingies on the top, and they also have little sad faces, I still want it.
The most appealing place for a gelato. Oh, here's our little undead creations. Come eat them.
Yes.
Questionable decisions were made for marketing here, but it's fine.
It's
memorable.
almost like putting sad faces on Dippin' Dots, and like as you eat them, they like melt, which is like their tears.
Now I want Dippin' Dots.
Really
Can we
dark.
not talk about food here?
I'm sorry.
Killing me
I'm
now.
sorry.
But back
Hopefully
to
what's
Valorant.
not going to kill. Yeah, hopefully what's not going to kill is this round for Boise State. Nice vision on the trap wire. The second one also picked up too.
And the
res.
res.
The res is committed.
Nice flash.
But again,
But
the
not-
weaponry from Nasty comes in, picking up 3. And I like the aggression from Boise State, but man, did it get completely punished on entry.
Yeah, they were at least, like you mentioned, able to identify all those tripwires, which is the whole advantage of the Cypher, but they were so distracted with that, and also the bullet spray coming out from tree from that smoke was also keeping them distracted. That Nashi just came right in heaven with a great flashbang, no less, that just denied any contest that Boise State could have there. Just dismantled him, got the triple, then John Hamm came in, I believe, from tree, picked up the remaining 2 even after the res came out. So Boise State, even after committing the res, was just unable to get it in that useful positioning, like you said.
Entry now. Oh no, the trap wire finds Skies again. Deja vu, but the
operator
opposing
on John
side
Hamm
of the
now.
map.
Oh,
Now with the
perfect timing on that wall.
Yeah, the wall actually causes a little bit of a disruption. Still 4 versus 2. Boise State looking to swing out into the open, but is easily eliminated. Both Shells and Calvin D lining up for the KO positioning. And it is now a 6-3 where San Jose, despite them having a very challenging early game on Ascent, where Boise State took it with that pistol round, have really found a way to recover.
Yeah, these aggressive pushes have been executed very well by Boise, but it seems San Jose has just been ready for them in every point that they push at. So it's been a hard attacking for Boise State so far, as San Jose's really gotten their learning curve of how Boise State might attack this and been able to adjust to it very quickly. So we believe a timeout might have been called there for Boise State to hopefully regroup against San Jose. Have to wait and see what they might adjust, but anytime they've been in an aggressive push against one of the sites, San Jose's had at least 3 of their members there, or one who's in mid and can rotate quickly and just collapse on top of them. And they also have kind of the split target priority of, we need to get these set Heifer, tripwires out of the way so we can push onto site, or we push right over them and they get taken down either way. So Boise State's really stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, the Cypher really has put a dampener on this jet play, and it's been successful. And the other part of it is too, is even though that Boise State has been adaptive to change outcomes and points that they want to aggress on, San Jose has actually read them very, very well, because every time that they're on that B position, you have the Cypher traps. Then it transitions to A. It leaves Skies in such a terrible position to where every time they enter, they are just not feeling confident, because they could just be walking openly into a very, very well-placed trapwire to get them vulnerable. And taking a look at the economy, this is a force buy once again by Boise State.
Ooh, able to get
Nice
+1, and John Hamm is a
2.
huge pick.
Yeah, that's absolutely critical for them, because they were not able to get the elimination down below. That's where the gunplay difference comes through. The value of that Phantom is far superior to the Stinger. But you now have at least a pickup here. Dreammaker getting that weapon advantage. A little bit of a unique position to put this spike to see if they want to play a little different angle. San Jose now at the disadvantage.
Yeah, spraying through the floor the best they can to try to prevent any push coming out from Heaven. But Skies picks up John's operator and finally is able to utilize it, picking up the KO, as well as Shells bringing the Marshall. And Boise State getting a thrifty, no less.
Yeah, that was the pick onto the Omen out the get-go to grab the operator was the biggest win for this entire stage, because it has been consistently a problem for Boise when they are going into this Omen play and that operator. It will constantly find value. Even when there are these trades that come through, they've still been able to recover. Now, you have Skies holding on to this operator, looking to see if they can manage this B position. Same aggression comes out by A. I would like to see if they can take advantage of this, in San Jose thinking that they'll take a different position. A lot of utility committed over towards this B position. I wish they would have actually held these bursts, but gonna commit all 3 as well with Skies. Okay. Oh no, Skies is gonna be rushed, and this is just a great read by San Jose again. That's the biggest thing for them. They have really, really understood how Boise State wants to play, and you have to roll the dice when you take a pick of sides. And what they've been rolling has been consistent boxcars on this craps table.
Yeah, they've been rolling 12 again and again and again. Panda able to at least deny John Hamm that much more econ, but still ends up ultimately getting taken down. And now San Jose in a 3-round lead. Last round before swap. Spend all your cash now and hope for the best. Skies just got overrun trying to hold on that B rotate on top of Booth, but they were able to pick up on Khan. But as soon as they re-scoped in, it was just suddenly, oh yeah, there's 2 members of San Jose right in front of me. And as you mentioned, even the utility usage coming out here was hurting. So hopefully in this final round, Boise State might be able to come out with a win to keep things a little bit more even, especially on Ascent, which is one of their most played maps here.
Nice shock pull to come around the corner. Does not manage to land on
the Odin.
No! A little bit of a suppression right now. Trapwire, again, leaving them vulnerable and lined up. But Panda and Sky is able to turn this. Still have a ways to go. They also need to prevent the null command from getting the resurrection. They're going to instantly make sure that they guarantee the spike and then look up the stairway.
Oh, the res does come out.
Get it. Yep, they get it. So now it's a 3 versus 2. Dark cover available by stairs, and you will have a swing and a cleanup by Khan come in. And you know, I have to piggyback a little bit off of the comment that you mentioned where they're moving forward. Really? Really? Okay, that's fine. But, you know, reading that they lost the operator, they knew that there was going to be some hesitant play, and they rushed to it. Now, in this situation where they transition over towards this B position again, they've got the gun advantage to where they can rush onto it. And those trap wires, again and again and again. This is a third significant trap that they've fallen into as we now take a swap of sides to see if this is an opportunity for Boise State to gain more value here. Because, again, the Cypher plays more of a anti-lurking methodology and tactic in this position versus trying to hold and slow an entry or maintaining control of a position. So this is the opportunity for Boise State to be able to capitalize.
Yeah, and only Calvin going for the light armor. Everybody else sticking to their ghosts here. Ooh, able to scout out the drone over on that A side push from Long. A lot of utility being committed on A, even able to scout out 2 members pushing it right now. Trying to rotate to hold tree right now with Calvin.
I like these dark covers, though, coming out to try and block some of it to see if they can prevent them from getting any momentum through tree, because the flank could come through, because they're both looking at it, too. Skies and their partner just waiting for them to move forward. But this could have been an overcommittance, and now they're going to hyperfixate onto B. Nobody's watching mid, so they've got a clean transition and could go through Market and Pizza.
Yeah, he does have the Headhunter online. It's just going to be all about the flicks if you could perfectly get to that head height and at least take down maybe 1 or 2 members, seeing as you only do have the 5 bullets. Unless this is the magical moment. We see 5 bullets, 5 kills. It is possible.
It'll be like a good old 007 golden gun round.
Oh,
you can see the recon bolt in the corner. They're committing it. The smokes come out. This is a hard beat push now. And able to take down 1. But that 1 costed 3 shots.
It's fine. Math is not our strong suit. Ooh, gets the flank onto John Hamm as well and picks it up. Spike plane does go down, but they're very cornered in a 5v2 situation. 5v4. Or I can do math. It's fine.
Oh, no. This trade out finally goes in favor. Again,
Boise
2 for 2.
State's
been playing. Boise has been playing very, very great pistol rounds. That's something that they've been really growing and getting better at, which leads them into these advantageous rounds afterwards. And now it's more so like that middle game focus. They have this early opportunity. They get the first couple. They basically guarantee themselves 3 rounds. That's what they're looking to do. That's what they want to ideally do with these pistol rounds, is they get those 3. If they either do a force buy in 2 or they outmatch them in round 3. And then once we start getting into that 4th round, that's where things start to look a little sketchy. San Jose is able to close the gap. They find these opportunities. Their gunplay has been very, very stellar and has worked for them heavily, especially coming in from Nassi and also Khan.
Yeah, so already a lot of utility being committed mid. Scouted out both the Cypher and the Jet, and huge trades. 3 for 2 so far in favor of Boise State.
That was such a ballsy position to play out into that open space when you're going just out of dark cover. Down below, the vision is there, looking for a ricocheted shock bolt. Oh, but as you do so, you leave yourself vulnerable for Hyder to get it. Boise State still takes it.
I mean, they've been
just
very
survivors here on Ascent now playing
yeah, pretty much.
defense.
But Boise State definitely having a commanding presence on defense on Ascent so far. I mean, they're showing why this is their map, and San Jose having a rough start trying to get their attack momentum going, but now they're able to full buy. Just looking at how much money they have saved up, but Skies does have the operator, is light armor though, so he's gonna pretty much having to hold B by himself.
This shot has to come through if they play over towards B.
I almost wanted,
Skies.
ooh, 2 scouted A long already. Haven't even walled off mid from tree. No one has eyes on Pizza, though, as Skies is getting aggressive with an operator.
Yeah, I'm worried about that because I feel
Very.
like there is this transition from mid. Skies is either going to get flanked or this is free passageway to B. And you're going into a Cypher that has a great lurk denial. Oh, gets a shot and prevents
I'll
the
take
trap
it.
wire. As much as I commented on Skies, you came out big there.
I mean, take what you can. Has 32 HP remaining. Falls back. No spike down. 45 seconds remaining. Gets healing as well. 5 members of Boise State alive. San Jose, not. They have to be pushing mid or the sky. Okay. I guess they're still pushing A.
Yeah, they're looking to stay towards this position. They've not yet opted to change positions, but a lot of dark cover here. Paranoia also already expended. They're going to actually go in for this plant.
Ooh.
They've got to collapse onto this. Boise State should be able to take this. No chance.
Oh.
Now for one down below, Hyder going to go down, and that's going to be a round victory here again for Boise State, continuing to close this gap and is in a position with this momentum where they can surpass San Jose and possibly bring this into a third map.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to. And if we go to a map 3 of Haven, Haven used to be Boise State's best and most played map. That just now being replaced by Ascent, I believe. So if we head to a map 3, that will be a very close showing. But so far, Ascent has been a very defender-dominated map.
Yeah, it seems to be, at least for both of these teams. And again, with how you keep control of these angles, especially, as I've mentioned before, watching into this middle position, it's so critical. Dreammaker, you were playing a dangerous game the second that dark cover fades.
Living life on the edge. Ooh, trademark was destroyed, so that's a little bit of information that they may be pushing through mid. Is able to scout out the Omen from mid. Ooh, the Jet's pushing as well. Panda's there with the defense. Gets both.
Panda gets a huge two-piece on this, and that is so needed. Again, for Boise State to continue to gain this morale boost, this necessary revitalized energy to compete against San Jose, who is this dominant team, as you mentioned, for the region. Hyder finally able to shut down the shock bolt. Recon bolt actually isn't going to get too much information because they are down. They at least notify where Dreammaker is, but it's a 4 versus 2, now down to 1. And that is going to be an easy pickup. Nasty is going to be very
so close, yet so far.
Very alone in that middle position, and at this point, they're probably just going to look to back off, go back towards their...
Ooh! Getting aggressive with it? All right,
they
guys,
want that op.
I mean, he has full armor and full health still. No, not anymore, but he picks up shells and spike.
Wow. Really
hey!
Pistol shot in the face. Pop, pop.
I mean, it cost him shells, though, which is unable to see that perspective, but I was hoping shells would have been able to at least hold their own, because they were up in window as well.
It's just one of those things where, again, you lose a little bit, but it's not too terrible because going into this, again, Boise State has quite an economic gain from these previous rounds that they've won back-to-back, so they don't feel too uneasy about it. And you can even see that they've got... from the Shadows, they've got the Hunter's Fury, and they're even approaching the Tour de Force as well.
Yeah, with San Jose only having the Omen and the KO ult, not really a lot of those big playmakers. Ooh! Oh! No, not even a look in mid.
Again, if you leave it open,
aggressive push
it is a viable opportunity.
B's, bleh.
B for bleh.
Exactly.
They're going to be...
Ooh, has a good... Oh, okay, why'd you... Operator, hello?
Close encounter. They don't want to risk it playing these corners. Skies
Tripwire, scouted out for once.
Is there going to be a second one? No one holding corner. This is the collapse opportunity. They need to try and take advantage of this as the Owl Drone comes out for intel. Suppression active. Null Command, I believe, is going to be committed into this. Actually, no, it's actually 0 point that's been tossed into it, not the Null Command.
Running out of time here. We are finally back to even at 8v8. Hunter's Fury will come down.
Oh, no.
Able to find one, gets another.
They have to rush the spike. They have to rush.
Ooh, it's going to be
real
close.
They got it. No, they'll get it. They've got enough time. It's before the outer white ring that lets them know. So that was a great recovery here. They better dash for that operator, though.
I don't know if they did not get it.
They didn't.
They just had to rebuy. I mean, they have a very cushy economy buffer right now, but
they're going to the bank and they're withdrawn right now. So
must be nice.
Yeah, agreed.
Buying too many of those Dippin' Dots, I see.
You know, okay, real talk though. What's your favorite ice cream color?
Ice cream flavor or Dippin' Dots flavor? Two different things.
No, well, okay. Okay, the Dippin' Dots flavor.
Depends on the mood. Do I want sweet or savory?
All right, you know, I was going to try and make this a quick exchange, but you're just going to have to be that.
I mean, my go-to is either something peanut buttery or cookie dough, so.
Okay, we're on the same page. I even told our prod, I said it's cookie dough or come at me, so we're on the same page. That's all that matters. Disguise is going to say come at me. Hyder goes down.
Threw down the smoke mid, is able to scout out the KO. The knives do come out for Khan as well, but does not get the elimination with them. Instead, just gets shot down.
Skies.
All right, good value.
Skies is just going to continue to find value.
Ooh,
and really,
right
now, this is substantial from Boise State, where they gain another win. And San Jose, this is just not a map that they feel comfortable on, nor does it feel that they are as practiced on. They just leave so many different angles open. They're not watching their flanks, these rotations, and these initial pickups that are coming through from Skies. Skies has actually really stepped up here for being that 2-month player that we've only seen with this team.
Yeah, I mean, they've been all about the Jet and the Operator. Jet and Operator, Jet and Operator, and it succeeded for them. And even when they have dropped the Operator, to my suspicion, were able to excel with it, picking up that Vandal and able to collapse on that B push in 2 rounds prior from now. But now Boise State, 3 rounds away from being able to take it. Huge push from mid, able to take down Dreammaker from Khan. Sky's the only member on B is getting collapsed on with an Operator in a corner. Not the best situation.
The owl peak coordination with the follow-through was huge because you initially look to try and take down the drone, but the second you go for that, it leaves you open and vulnerable to not get the trade.
Darkness.
Yeah, coming through from the shadows. Where are you going to go? Actually, more so used as a decoy. It doesn't actually fully commit. Panda gets 1.
Finds
now a second.
Triple? And from just like that, it was a 4v4 to a 4v1, and Calvin gets it.
Again, this defensive half has been so great from Boise State. They've
Ascent
really,
has
really
just been a defender map.
And that's why it's so important to get every round possible when it comes to the attack. And at this point, San Jose is in a really, really challenging predicament because you're 2 rounds out. They have a light buy potential here. Yeah, they've got enough for a light buy. I don't think they're going to force buy. So this will be a chance for them to gain a little bit of recovery so that they can come back in for basically 1 more saving grace round for them to have an opportunity to bring this back. But it's still a tall order.
Yeah, see the smoke, see the drone. No one checked high ground. Gets both of them. Finally taken down by Nashi on the Cypher. Will have to teleport into hell on Panda. But they have a very aggressive push onto A with Cypher and the Omen and the Sova. Sova, the last remaining member. Boise State has collapsed on this, and they get it just like that.
And it was very expected. And it's this moment. This is the moment that San Jose had to set themselves up for.
At this moment, they knew they fucked up.
Yeah. Well, again, this is the moment of where they have a last-ditch effort because they will get a full buy. They will get full armor. They will get full weaponry. They will have their assault rifles. So, if anything, it was an absolute necessity for them to be able to use that to spend. And now, in this final moment, there's a double op from both Shells and Skies. And San Jose has to get a miraculous pick early onto either one of them to have this go in their way.
Yeah, and the Sage still has the Resurrect as well, so Boise State can easily bring this back, but seems San Jose is going for another aggressive A push as quickly as they can. And Boise State really has no sightlines on, and Spike's already down.
Yeah, they have to rush this. They're using every piece of utility that they can. The Paranoia is going to come out from Panda to see if there's a possibility that Shells can rotate through after breaking down this wall. But it hasn't been completely eliminated just yet, as they have to still play cautiously. The second it opens, there could be potentially 1 or 2 waiting there for those shots. As there's some intel underneath. They've got it. Potentially.
Ooh, there's one.
There's an early shot. It's the 1 of 4 remaining. They have to take advantage of this. Trap wires get a slow, so that gives Hyder a
came
1.
in from behind.
Trade continuing between 2 in the smoke,
Oh.
left alone. San Jose pulls it out and are able
John
to
Hamm.
deny the match point.
John Hamm was just sitting in hell that whole time. I mean, we saw the KO come out from underneath. You see the Sova over from the archway, and I believe one member even pushed through trees, which was the doom of this chamber in the Omen from behind, which was Hyder. There you go. It was just very quick back and forth. And Dreammaker making my dreams come true with that Odin. I love you.
Yeah.
Anytime I see
it's
an
the
Odin, just
mainstay
makes
for
my
you.
day that much better.
It's the mainstay for you. It really is.
Well, Ares does work too. I respect it.
But it's not an Odin.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I mean, it's better than nothing. But another huge aggressive push from A is working out in San Jose's favor with already down 2 members, denying the res from Calvin as well.
Yeah, W Panda in a challenging position. The dark cover fades, looking to see if anybody's going to jump up top to the catwalk as the drone instantly picked up. Nice opportunity. Khan leaves themselves vulnerable, focusing the Owl drone versus the player. Door now going to be reduced.
Come on,
There's 2, but
Dreammaker.
I'm scared for Skies. I'm so scared for Skies, but gets 1 anyways, despite the paranoia coming through.
Yeah, and John was the one usually in hell, so the fact that she picked that up might have cleared it out for him. And let's go! Gets at least 1 with the Odin. I'll take it, but with the classic, going up against the Phantom is probably not the best idea. So San Jose is closing the gap here.
They'll be able to pick up the operator as well. They're just 2 more rounds away from making this an overtime situation. And this is scary. This is so scary. They've got to push B. They've got to either change it. Like, this is the tactical part where now you're rolling the dice. If you stick with A again, they have a chance because there's only 2 here, but they could try and change this up and would walk into 3 with a lot of defensive utility to use.
Yeah, but San Jose has almost all of their utility to use outside of the daggers, and Hunter's Fury's going to open things up with, but instead Sky's going to deny it and get the elimination onto Nashi, who pushed up very aggressively.
Yeah, the dark cover came out way too late, so they get the angle. Now with Calvin D getting 2, shutting down the null command, which was the win condition for San Jose pressing onto this map. Boise State in a prime position. No one can get the res. The Hunter's Fury just going to spam the Omnic down. No ability to pick back up. And that will be a flawless round and a shutdown on this map too to bring us to a 3rd.
Boise State brought it back together at the end when it mattered. I mean, I've been saying it the whole time. Ascent has been the defender-favored map, but San Jose in those last couple rounds with the aggressive, just all-out go-for-A pushes had been working out for them, and Boise State was beginning to hurt for economy. Had they lost that round, I think that San Jose probably could have taken it because they had the economy build-up, but they still were managed to close it out in the end. So, heading us to a map 3. Well, Boise State is brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who is a proud supporter of Boise State esports. Top plays are even presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 sign-on bonus and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is the best team to join out there, and make sure to reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Well, an action-packed map 2, to say the least. I mean, it was 13-10 with how close it was. Very neck and neck of defenders having a pretty clean sweep and then swapping sides, and now defenders get it again. So Boise State really just lucking out on getting defenders second time. So heading to a map 3 of Haven is really risky. Hopefully Boise State attacks first so they can defend last.
I mean, the biggest thing is the fact that you're taking a map away from one of the top 3 teams. Like, that's a significant boost for this Boise State squad. You're knowing that you have managed to now make it a 1-1 scoreline, where this, what others would probably say would have been maybe a 2-0, since they're such, having high regard for what they've done,
especially with
as
two
a team.
substitutes.
But yeah, that's
like
what I
you're
mean.
not your full roster, and you took a map off of essentially the #1 team before the quarterfinals going into it. People should start being like, oh, these people are like an actual threat. Like, we should pay more mind to them. So, some exciting things to look forward to heading into map 3 of Haven. We're going to go ahead and take a short break, but make sure to stay tuned.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We are continuing our coverage tonight with Boise State taking on San Jose in some Mountain West Valorant. This is the week before the quarterfinals, so it is on the line to get that good seeding. And right now, Boise State against San Jose has kind of the reigning champ of U.S. Collegiate Valorant. I am still your host, Brendan Barrett. Joining with me to call all of the action is Rich Rad Pontillo. So heading into map 3 of Haven, with Boise State just taking a map away from San Jose as the reigning kind of champs right now, is a pretty good for morale boost. But going into Haven, which is almost everybody's most played map for good reason, because it is Haven of all maps. So what are you hoping to see from both sides? And I did double check. Boise State is attacking first.
Okay, so that's going to be an interesting thing. I mean, again, you're talking. Let's look at the bigger picture here. Let's look at the energy. You're coming off of a win like that, where it was quite a dominant one. When we look at a defensive side, being down so many when it comes to that side swap, and then being able to take back-to-back rounds, more than 6 consecutive at one segment. is a massive, massive undertaking. And now going into this map, Haven, the one thing that is going to be most critical here is how the attacking position, because you did mention that they were on the attacking side first, right?
Yes.
Okay. That you have to make sure that you are covering your bases, because we are looking at multiple points of contention here, more so than just the two. So that's something that's really, really important for us to acknowledge, how Boise State is going to enter in onto this and how they look to kind of transition between each of these areas. And this is a position where the defensive side, again, seems to be a little bit more structured in some degree, but it's such a challenge because when you add that extra point, it gets so much more chaotic.
Yeah, it's at that point it comes down to, mental games, who's going to go where, how are you going to split, whether it's, 1-3-1, try to go down mid, and then you can split to whoever has that advantage, whether or not, or you full commit to one side and force the entire enemy team to rotate all the way over, and how can you predict that? And San Jose has definitely kind of maybe forfeited their early runs to get a read on how Boise State attacks and then capitalizes on it, is what they've done on the prior two maps. So, and Boise State was able to do that once they got on defense, but it definitely took more of a learning curve for them. So hopefully we can see them kind of minimize that downtime. So especially on a map 3, you've spent a lot of rounds against your opponent. You should know them to a decent extent, I would hope. Like, it's not just kind of, they might come this way. It's like, no, you should know. So hopefully here on Haven, where there's just so many angles, as you've been mentioning, with 3 points, it's very much, I don't want to say a guessing game, but you're hoping for the best of, hopefully they come through here and not, the 2 other angles I can't watch, because it's only a 5v5. You can't watch every angle. And thankfully this isn't like Siege, where it's like, they can come from above and below me and all these other directions. So round's a little bit simpler like that, but I'll have to wait and see if Boise State is able to close out this best of 3 taking on San Jose. And as we look at these lineups, anything standing out to you?
The fact that there's the lack of breach. That's so, again, Breach has been such a very dominant pick. Same thing with even the Brimstone. Both of them have really rolled into a place of power. But we're going to keep these teams with their tried and true. They're not going to waver away from it. And Boise State going to opt in playing once again this Sage, which is, at this point, my belief, more of a just comfort pick for, this group now with what they have synergy-wise. Calvin D seeming that it's something that they just enjoy playing and that they can really contribute with the team and know how to work a strategy around it. And with that adjustment and, comparison between the two on this attacking position, I really am curious to see how they move from this initial default attack, if they go either towards this B position or the C.
Yeah, already a lot of utility being committed in the mid. Headhunter as well. Bullet was fired, but can't see if anything had landed due to not being able to see the enemy team. So drone is going to come out from Dreammaker on the Silva right through the connectors. Scouted out by the KO, so at least it's not a life lost for that.
True. There's still a very slow pace into this. San Jose not even going to risk anything and just wait for Boise State to push in, because at this point they can, and it's opting actually over towards this A-long area. Oh, no, they get the close hold. You're going to see Dreammaker have to just hide. That's a great assistance, though, from Calvin D to get the follow-through despite being so low and suppressed.
Yeah, healing will immediately go out onto him, so they are at least +1 pushing over to A, as they're still very much held up over by Lobby, trying to fight away into short so they can push onto site. But they have yet to really take control of Heaven of A as well. They're just going to smoke it out.
Paranoia comes out with the smoke in conjunction.
A lot of utility.
Skies gets clipped. So now has to be super cautious, but is able to withstand it. The wall actually funnels them into this small position.
And
the choke point is capitalized on, and Dreammaker gets all 4.
That was a huge firefight between them, and very lucky to survive it with 21 HP and a quad, no less. We've said it so many times, but Dreammaker is living up to his name.
again, it's because of what Calvin D managed to give them. There's only one way of entry with how far they're committed into this, and they just come out one after another. And there's no way to take this. You either go one by one and get picked up, or you go as a unit, and then there's potentially just multi-firing where you just stack them up, and you're not in a comfortable position. So what a huge, huge heads-up play. And again, why this Sage is such a mainstay for them.
Yeah, she's been getting a ton of utility for Boise State, and now Panda getting the immediate first blood onto John Hamm, who got very aggressive pushing down C-Long as Skies is able to get the refrag for his teammate that ended up going down, losing that chamber, but Boise State's already sitting in their spawn and already have 2 eliminations, just so how kind of overly aggressive, I would say, San Jose has been getting.
They also just have the advantage, so at this point, San Jose has to play aggressive, because if they don't play something a little bit more sporadic, this is just going to be an easy Boise take. Now that they're continuing to hold connector with the smoke, also Paranoia contributed into that. They're going to have to try and move towards this C short position in the back, where they are going to have to try and peek into 2 pretty hefty weapons that are going to easily get a pickup here, and this will be San Jose just falling short.
Yeah, I wish we could see the San Jose's perspective to see if they were going to go push for it, and Hyder went for it at least, but I think Khan on this Jet might back off or even go for the master flank as they're committing a lot of... Oop, nope, she's on site and picks up one with the Sheriff.
Manages to get one, so they at least ruin a little bit of the economy, but again, something that they can't really pick up and utilize and carry over into this. But again, round 3. This is where San Jose does have some economy to work with. Going to be able to get a decent buy to try and compete into this, as Boise State will be able to feel really comfortable themselves. And now the excitement really begins. Little bit of a interesting pickup here. They're not going to full buy or get close to the full buy. They're going to save a little bit and see if they can just work with what they have and make themselves a little bit more long-run economics.
I mean, they've been able to so far, but as you mentioned, this is round 3, so now San Jose should have full bought. The wall goes down in immediate smoke. That's a plane on to be very aggressively. The wall does go down, and Calvin's not even looking to the left, is finally able to get Nashi. Oh, that KO has to be so low.
Wow. And again, it was just because there were so many close enough to this B position that they brought down the wall fast enough that I don't think Boise State was ready for this.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Shell's now left alone. And again, this is where it gets a little dicey, because you didn't full buy, so you come in with a weapon disadvantage where San Jose has the advantage, and that's why that wall goes down quick enough. That's why they get the gun trade in these close proximities. Everything kind of snowballs from that moment. So now that they've allowed San Jose to get this, you do have Boise State at a full buy here. They will be 100% prepped for this, but you've given a little bit more agency now to San Jose. They're going to be able to recover, and I'm curious to see if San Jose is going to carry along with that, because if they do, it can start getting really dangerous.
Yeah, it seems Boise State is stacking up, trying to go for an A push, but also cover their butts as they throw down some of the utility to try to deny it. You do see a little bit of the San Jose utility committed down on B through main. Also finds the con and corners in. Does not lose one until Hader comes out from the smoke and gets a triple. Calvin's finally able to shut him down, but an amazing flashbang from the KO is able to shut him down. Now it's just a 1v1 between Shells and the Omen.
That reload is the bane of any gamer's existence. That was so rough. That was 2 for reloads and just easy pickups, and now Shells has to really play cautiously, tosses out the rendezvous, which is a great idea, so that if they do find themselves in a really challenging position pushing up towards this B position, they can escape. But you got a 50-50 chance here of peeking the right corner if they're hiding in it. Now they're actually going to get the plant. This is a good opportunity for Boise State.
On B as well. I was very curious if they were just going to go all the way to C and just completely throw the Omen for a loop.
Oh, but Shells is going to play away from the rendezvous and hold this angle. San Jose has a chance to capitalize on this. There's no real way the Shells can elude out of this actively.
Ooh, smoke is down. And destroyed the rendezvous, so he knows he's near.
Is it going to be a fake touch? And does! Oh, no! It's one of those moments where you should spray and pray. You got the
Yeah.
bullets, you have the time, and that will be a win here for this round for San Jose. Oh, what a worthy attempt, though. It's a 2-2 round now. Still have
I mean,
a long way
this
ahead of us,
replay
but
is brutal because 8 people died in the span of 30 seconds of just, there's one, there's
Reload.
2 more, there's
Reload.
2 more, there's another of just, oh. So what happens when you
And again,
stack up that hard, though?
Well, it's also, and again, it's one of those timing things. Both having to go for the reload. The third player in the back wasn't able to get the damage out fast enough onto him, so you're just kind of sitting ducks at that point and just counting your blessings.
Shooting fish in a barrel because they're all just trying to reload and panic.
Yep.
But
That's one fast swirling fish in the same direction.
ooh, nice dink from Skies on the Sheriff, but with Khan
Wow,
aggressively
super
pushing
aggressive.
through mid-window is going to pick up 2. Skies once again going to have to come in with the dink Sheriff, but Boise State just went all Sheriffs, it seems.
Yeah, with them losing that previous round and not really having the economy to work with to get a better buy. That's huge, though, and the upgrade.
Also,
this gives
Knives
so
came
much
out.
more opportunity for Boise State. And, yeah, the fact that you've got daggers available here.
Now it's just rotating over to try to find a point of entry. But also, they're going up against the Chamber and the Sova, who excel at the long-range engagement. So going all the way around to C-Long was a risky play, but I bet San Jose was definitely protecting either the B or the A push, because that's where Boise State had committed a lot of the utility initially.
I mean, they've got both dark covers. Connector is going to be easily managed. They're playing super aggressive into it as well. They do have information on the trademark. So they are going to be able to manage that very effectively, because it's not going to give San Jose the opportunity to know that they could be just hiding in this tunnel, waiting to see if they can push out.
Ooh, sees the arrow. They knows the
Humboldt
Sova's there.
goes
There's
back.
one.
Big reset. That's the third. And now Skies wants the quad. If they, Cloudburst. They got to dash forward into it. Seeing if
Oh,
they
he's
can maybe
waiting
get
to hear the
value.
defuse. Forced it out. Went for the right click.
Gets it.
Missed it, but Panda saved his butt. Can they get away
Yep.
from the explosion? Okay. Oh! From the death sounds, they died to it, so they don't even get to save the weapons.
At this point, since they did at least commit the Storm Blades, you at least have only one weapon going down, because they did manage to hold on. Oh, no. Well, I think that was a pickup, because this was a thrifty. That was the biggest thing, is that Boise State still, once again, was able to take advantage of this despite them being at a deficit, because they only had the Sheriffs. They were able to get the double pickup. They had the Blades available for their ultimate grabbing the orb. So everything just starts to fall in line, and Boise State has a ton of ultimates to work with outside of Skies, who was really the only one that put any into that previous round.
A lot of spray going down just to take down Nashi, who got very aggressive down mid. San Jose's bringing out their own knives as well as the Tour de Force, as you mentioned. So going for the B push very aggressively. Walls keeping her alive. The nade goes down. She's stuck, has to run through it. Boise State gets the spike down and doesn't lose him out. Well, ooh, hard
Shells,
miss.
you needed to hit that.
Ooh,
but it's
still
okay.
goes down, and the res.
Calvin D's here. I feel like they could have held the rest. That's a personal opinion. Because they clean this up now. This is easy win. They could have carried that over, but you know, that's just me being nitpicky. But ultimately, Boise State, though, still coming out on top right now for the attacking position.
Yeah, they were able to bring out the knives from San Jose. Yes, they got an elimination, which then forced out the res and the Tour de Force. Boise State definitely could have saved the res, I agree.
But as we now still have two, we've got From the Shadows and the Hunter's Fury online.
Which
So I'm
are
curious
both
if they're gonna
also
maybe do a
available for
cheeky
San
play.
Jose.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're going to maybe try and do a cheeky play. The null command is what I'm really going to be looking out for to see if they attempt to maybe do something. Nice tag, though, from Dreammaker just before the cover came through. So they've got the knowledge of knowing at least one's here, and they are hard committing to this steep position.
Ooh, get him as well. Oh, Miss Guys.
Yeah. That
1 for 1, 1 for 2 now.
From the Shadows is big.
Hunter's Fury coming out from San Jose. You also see the Sage bring out her heal for herself. So it's just Panda who's a little tagged. Should be fine.
Dark cover again. Paranoia committed.
Ooh,
Now we gotta
recon
back
bolt
off.
though.
Oh, Shrouded step to escape. As Panda looks to hold this C-long position.
Ooh.
Nice recovery on that. They can afford to sacrifice a little bit here. Null Command is going to give some space since they're suppressed. And now Dreammaker, this is turned on its head. This flank coming in from the back position on the chamber has to hit Pager. The shots from downtown denies it. Shells still here. Looks for the pickup down that C-long position, chasing them away. It doesn't matter. They still get the point, and that's a 5-2 scoreline here for Boise State.
Yeah, they've really pulled it away here in attack for Haven right now, showing why this was their dominating map for the longest time until they met their new love of Ascent. But right now, they're still staying true to it, and they still have their Hunter's Fury online. Will be going up against the Tour de Force and the Omen, so San Jose might want to commit a little bit more here just because they've been at a loss streak.
I always love when I see teammates in the chat just be like, I want this. I want this. It's just like, could you be any nicer? Like,
give it to me now. How about that? That's more of the internet equivalent.
Yeah. As you're going to have a hard rush here from Boise State over to A. This is the first time we've seen it in some time, but the Tour de Force getting value. And that is a huge pool to have to work around over towards that small area. That pick is so massive to just basically put Boise State into a state of discomfort.
Yeah, this is probably where we'll see Boise State rotate to a different point. But I believe that is also 4 bullets of the Tour de Force used, so he only has the 1 remaining. Panda playing a very dangerous game here, pushing up forward on that corner hold. Because they might also just have an operator based off of the gun sounds, but I can't confirm.
Could be.
Boise State still committing to the A push as well.
I mean, I like the mind game strat here because most likely they'd look to try and reposition to another position. Oh, but that recon bolt gives some intel.
Ooh!
What a swing coming out. Big plays by Dreammaker, taking advantage of this and getting so much space cleared. That will be a free plant and now a 3-3 duel.
And making sure to cover the butts. Jet comes flying in, still hasn't been taken down. Finally will get taken down as well as the chamber. But John Hamm is able to pick up one onto Panda. Had the Marshall unable to hit the shot, and that's the 6th round for Boise here.
I commend them. I commend them right now for what they've been able to do and pull out in this. And even though they have an early disadvantage, they got the Tour de Force chilling in the back. They wait, they draw the time out, they make sure that they keep San Jose in a really just perplexing position. They don't know exactly where this rotation is going to come from. They take full advantage, cycling back into that same area, and really have just put San Jose in a always questioning situation. They're not sure on their decisions.
Yeah, the mind games have definitely been Boise State's strongest suit here on Haven. Able to scout out both members, even the chamber trying to camp in that corner scouted out, so had to make quick rotations. Boise State's still very stacked up in C long right now.
That last moment swing to get the info onto the chamber is so critical to try and push the C long position if they want to stay here, but they're going to actually waver away. They won't look to keep contention towards that position and opt to potentially go into this middle area, either to move through connector or commit on to B.
Yeah, going through doors could definitely be the strategy for them, because going for B is they just have that very close connector through link and window. Oh, but seems that they're going to go for the B push, even committing everything that they've done in the past of the wall and the smoke. Calvin does go down first once again as he swung to the right. But Dreammaker is able to get the refrag for him.
Almost gonna see the.
Ooh, did hear the defuse go down. Brings out the Hunter's Fury.
Yeah.
Ooh, but he gets taken down in the back line.
Though they did get some chip damage with the Hunter's Fury. That's gonna allow this rotation to come through in the back position. And you've got San Jose get the defuse. Oh my, there wasn't enough swift rotation to get there in the back line to deny it. The Hunter's Fury doesn't tag them enough either. That's just a little bit of a misplay here from Boise State with the advantage that they had.
Yeah, didn't commit daggers or anything to dash in and try to deny it, but you see the dash coming out from Khan to get the elimination onto Panda is Really hard loss. San Jose very lucky with that play, and I'm surprised also that Boise State committed the Hunter's Fury as early as they did, because that first little attack out the defuse, yeah, you can hear it, but you know they weren't going to commit it to it because Skies was right there on the jet. But still committed the Hunter's Fury, got taken out from John Hammond the return, but now Khan's popping off with a double. Whoa!
Wow, what a shift. What a shift in tempo here. And that was a nutty paranoia, too. That gave so much value, but they were playing on logs in that inner right corner where despite them getting a chance to take down one, they were just instantly punished for it. And this replay is so lightning fast.
Yeah, ran right into Khan. Khan picked up 2, then got eliminated, and John Hamm got the remaining 3 when they knew he was on point, no less, and just continued the push forward. I mean, that's the struggle of pushing through C-Long, is you are stuck in a hallway or stuck in cubby. So really, Calvin once again first eliminated.
This is so surprising how San Jose has managed to just kind of flip the switch right now.
It took them 6 rounds or more than that. It took them like 8 rounds, and they've brought it back.
Yeah, and there's a second now coming out onto Skies, and it's just more so, I think, that they've finally been able to just get the angles that
the operator
pick up knowledge. Yeah, this is huge. Flawless right now. They've been evaluating how Boise State's been playing these last 6 rounds that they've won, and have managed to download this aggression, and it's quite impeccable how they've played these previous 3.
Yeah, now Boise State is really hurting for Econ right now after 2 rounds of full buying. Now kind of having to go and just deal with Spectres and 2 Vandals is not ideal when you know you're going up against Khan that has that operator, is going to be probably holding down that exact same position in A with how well San Jose has just been reading you the past 2 rounds.
I'm curious if they're going to try and go for a play with the From the Shadows.
Yep, there he is.
Oh no, Khan finds another. And now Calvin.
The res is available if he can zone him out at best.
This is so awkward. They've got another player right alongside them to help just in case too.
Ooh!
Great pickup though. Shells is going to be able to equalize, making it 4-4. Now the res is something of value, but unfortunately can't
Res
find
comes
that
out,
trade.
quickly eliminated
Oh,
though.
Hunter's Fury immediately onto the res. The dash gets them out. Beautiful timing just to save yourself. It is a 3 versus 2, but the health values equate to still being in favor of San Jose.
Yeah, he rotated all the way from B to C after losing shells on that chamber to the Omen. But they bring it back, so now San Jose is bringing out the knives, trying to close this out. She does still have the operator online as well, and picks up Panda.
Oh no, the reset of the blades. So now they've only got 20 HP to try and elude the Skies, pushing through connector. Can't find the shot. The updraft gives the distance, but gets it right at the downfall. And whoo, you can see that Skies is happy about that one.
That was a lot of ultimates committed there that definitely hurt him. But as we head into the round swap, we're going to do a player profile here of Shells, who we've been watching throughout, also known as Clint Shelley. They are from Virginia Beach in Virginia. Who would have guessed? But they're also a GIM major here. And, of course, a very own quote from our very infamous Dr. Haskell. Clinton's a pro in every sense of the word. He continues to perform and lead his team of younger players. He's a savvy vet and, of course, a superstar. Even though Panda usually gets player of the game, we like to highlight the backbone of the team, like Shells.
Yeah, again, it's those critical players that maybe not always the one that's at the top of the KDA or the one that takes that #1 spot, but they have so much influence throughout these games that just are unnoticed or unrecognized, and you have to give credibility to so many of these. Great recon bolt to start to know that there is a stack over by that A-long position, so Boise State can now respond defensively. Gets 2 easy pickups here, and now
Panda comes in to save the day.
This is so great. I love how Boise State has been able to get so much information way ahead of San Jose.
But both Panda, well, Skies got healed up to the Sage, but Panda's down to 11. Skies was at 15. So now it's just waiting to see where the remaining 2 members might rotate through. I assume Spike is down if Boise State is still holding A as hard as they are. I don't see it, though, which makes me worried. Because if San Jose still has Spike, they could easily rotate to another point, and Boise State is 100% stacked up on A.
Yeah, the post plant is where it becomes really challenging.
Ooh, even a gadget destroyed. This is where... Oh, the flank!
They've taken a reposition here. As the spike's been planted, they've gotten it either on B or C. They've actually kept one here to draw their attention out to see what they can do to buy some time. And now, this is where the divide and conquer happens. But they're stacking close together to see if it is going to be this B position. They don't find anything, so they know that it's conclusively by C. And now, they just have to find this corner for where San Jose's last player is holding.
Not going for the split push either. Really running low on time. Finds him in window. Panda gets it. They get the defuse.
They'll get it. Yep.
Yeah.
Managed to get there in time. That's the risk you take. You're sprinting to get there in time because they took such a long position, but at the same time, you can't leave yourself vulnerable. And when it's the 3 versus 1, I give San Jose credit. They at least get a decent couple of shots off, but can't slow them enough. But look at that early info. That right there is the win for this round, knowing that they are just in this, they've committed it, and then the gunplay just falls heavily in favor of Boise State.
Yeah, Skies is very lucky to survive that with 3 members pushing through and just landed a headshot after headshot with Panda swinging to his right with the crossfire setup. And now Boise State's able to full buy with Spectres and armor. San Jose's good luck.
It's true. I mean, they have to be... I don't think they're going to force buy. There's no way they can. They're now at an 8-5. This round should go in favor of San
going
Jose.
for the B push and Sheriffs.
Though. Yeah, the fact that Con gets that, and they will get the weapon upgrade. So that's another significant factor to really be careful of when you see this jet. But Sky says otherwise. Ooh. Okay.
Still very much in their spawn, surprisingly, but 2 and 2. Boise State doesn't want to get overly aggressive here.
And the hard part is that there's 2 San Jose players that have upgraded.
Yeah.
Headhunter now out. Seeing what they could find, looking through this window position.
Believe that was on A as well. Yeah.
You can see the commitment there. They're going to put some util onto it. Smoke there. Potentially going to try and maneuver up to heaven, firing through as they pass by, though, to make sure that nobody's close to peek out. They've got a few more seconds. The rendezvous gives an opportunity to be a little bit safe as they go out into this.
They have to clear out Hell as well, which they haven't, and that's going to cost them because that's where he was. Gets him, though.
Oh, no. Now it's all down to Calvin. They play aggressive around the corner. Not going to be in your favor. The thrifty here for San Jose, and a round win to close the gap down only to 2.
Yeah, getting those gun upgrades from the elimination so early on just allowed them to excel and get even the rotations. They never really left their spawn because Boise State just got as aggressive as they did. So now the shorties coming out as kind of a pass-over round, even though the little bit commitment. So Boise State has a chance, but San Jose able to secure with the Spectre. Should be able to full buy here, and Boise State really stacked up on C.
Yeah, they're trying to anticipate this. It's basically kind of putting your eggs in a basket and having one hold 2. Oh, they're over by A, though. This is going to be a rough transition. Rough transition here is it's only going to be Shells with the Headhunter to potentially
going for the flank.
Yeah, there's a wide lurk here, so they're going to lose a lot of time with this spike going down.
Gotta go as quickly as you can. Shells in a very rough spot. The only one holding off the rotations over by a length. Still has the Headhunter on line.
I know they're trying to play this methodically, but the second you waver away, it's an easy advantage. San Jose now has this 3 just going to be mowed down.
The rendezvous!
Well, that rendezvous wasn't favoring, so...
The shorty!
They're at least getting something out of this. I give them credit for 2, but it is a lost round, so that is now an 8-7 scoreline as another round goes in favor of San Jose. But Boise State now can buy. They can invest, and they can look to try and turn this back, keeping it in their favor, and continuing to climb, and get themselves to an opportunity of where they could actually take down a very significant team in this group.
Yeah, getting that early win against one of the head teams of the Valorant League here essentially would definitely be a huge staple going into quarterfinals and put a huge target on your back. I mean, already taking a map off of essentially the #1 team is a huge win at that, and now just continuing that momentum forward. San Jose has definitely gotten the ball rolling for their side here, but Boise State still has a 1-round lead, so it is definitely possible, especially after the full buy, as you mentioned, where they can just bring it back. Ooh!
Nice takedown and find on that. Boise State
Good
waits
plus
to see
one.
if they continue to push in. Oh, Panda, you gonna rat this corner, aren't you?
Don't do it. He doesn't even fully
Didn't
check the
even
corner.
check either. What
That is a
what
ballsy
a
man.
confident play. What a doesn't even look. It's like walking away from explosions without looking. That's exactly what Panda was doing there.
Did discover the push on to C and has the flank on Panda. Here's the spike going down. Ooh, gets one and the other.
Huge damage.
Okay, will he check Cubby though? Okay, no, he won't.
Wow.
And that's
Wow. Panda, I mean real defense. Just no hesitation. Didn't even flicker to potentially look on the inside a window. Just said, nah, fam.
I got it.
I'm good. I don't even need to worry. I'm just going to take this back C long position duel and win it, mind you.
My only guess is either he has just the biggest balls in the world, or his team, as the member got eliminated, I believe it was Skies getting taken down by the chamber, called out that he saw 3 members on C, and since there was only 3 left alive, he knew that they wouldn't be there. Would be my only guess as to why, but I'm gonna give the credit to Panda of just he's just a Chad and knows.
Yep. We'll just give him the benefit of the doubt. As we now see this wall ready again from Calvin
Aggressive
D,
push from Boise with the
utilize.
knives.
Yeah, no, they're trying to put San Jose in a mental position of lacking confidence, and I actually really like that. They are throttling against San Jose to make sure that they and every decision are not 100% on it, and you can see now that there is already this momentum over to A. Nice takedown from Calvin D, lining that up. You also have from the shadows coming through, so that the transition
but
comes
the turtle
over
force.
to A. Tour de Force, yes, but there's still so much being committed elsewhere, and also they've got the elimination on the null command, and no one can get the res.
I just keep all eyes on the dead robot.
Poor
Even
robot.
finish him off.
Oh, Mr. Robot. Just asking, please, someone bring me back. Nope. Calvin
No.
D's like, I'm done with you.
Yeah, and they have eyes on Spike as well, so it's just let's just sit here and all stare at it because there's only quite literally 2 angles he can come from because they have secured the rear. Unless he's going to go for the rotate all the way around, but even then they have that zoned off unless he's going all the way around through C, but 20 seconds remaining, I highly doubt that.
Yeah, no, there's no way. I mean, and again, at this point, San Jose is just going to look to try and save. They know that they need to.
Just
because this
stand
is
on
starting
it.
to get out of hand. Yeah,
He
this is
pops
starting
the
to get-
ulted.
Yeah, he did it to see if they were going to do it and try and force it out. So it was just to test the theory, and they regret it instantly. So now they've lost the dark cover. They do have at least 1 weapon that they can retain going into this next one, but we find ourselves only 3 rounds away from victory from Boise State. So San Jose at this point is going to probably go for a partial or light buy so that they can maybe get an opportunity. And then going into the, it's such a weird round position to be in with these last 3. It's such a challenge for San Jose. They have to get something either this round or the next round, because if it gets into that 3rd position, it's just going to be all downhill for them.
Well, I assume they bring out the daggers here, which means Skies is at most going to buy a secondary, which, yeah, she does. A lot of scouting coming out over on A, but no idea where they're pushing just yet. Have no sightlines on him. Saw one in mid doors. The Jet already scouted on B with the knives. Gets taken down without even utilizing them. Trying to scout out on B. Hunter's Fury comes out. 14 health remaining. Still alive. Picks up 1 as well.
Panda, you scary low, friend. You scary low. Gets a pick up anyway. anyways.
Okay. I mean,
That's a gun
2 for 1
pickup
is
here,
pretty
at
good
least for
trade
San
for
Jose.
Panda.
It is. It's just you have to be cautious now because the 2 that have been the most accurate for San Jose now have weapon upgrades.
Yeah.
Again, it's still a tall order. Don't get me wrong, but they
Ooh,
are
Spike,
the more
though, going
devastating
down.
if they actually
Scouts
get
it
the split.
out!
Oh, huge. Dreammaker
And
comes
the
back.
res.
Force the res here.
In a
Again, I know
3v1
Boise
situation,
State's in the advance, but yeah.
maybe so he could just keep his gun because he was low econ, maybe, would be my only guess. But he's been getting elimination, so I don't think... I agree,
Calvin
the
D
res
is
was
also
not
just a
needed.
Chad. Or Calvin D is also just a Chad and says, don't worry, I'll get it again.
I mean, if he gets another one in 2 rounds and can use it on the final round, more power to you. But now you got all the eyes on you, so pressure's on.
That's like Giga Chad. Even Panda's just like, all right, I'll take a step down. And now we get into this final stretch. Skies has the op, is going to hold this angle, as you saw once already from San Jose, and it's do or die. Because if you don't get anything out of this round, San Jose is just going to have to go into a force buy, and they are at the deficit. But, they did go for a very light buy. They went for an eco. They didn't go for a light buy, so that's why they've got the op.
Wow.
And now you're going to have the Vandal coming in for the wallbang onto Shell, so it's a 4 versus 3. San Jose is in a prime position to be able to close this. But again, they cannot allow this to get away from them. They got rid of the op, and they picked it up, mind you.
Yeah, now Dreammaker still pushed up very far, is able to find one with the shock arrow, but gets taken down by Hyder, so still trading 1 for 1, which is a trade Boise State cannot afford because they used the res last round. This is the perfect round to have it. So now all of the ultimates are coming out. Huge spray and pray, lands the lucky bullets. Healing comes out, dodges the op shot, but taken down by the headhunter.
Oh, if you pulled that off, Calvin, if you pulled that off, I actually would have leapt from my seat. But
I mean, spin and win. You tried it.
Yeah, tried to. So, all right, that's
points.
big though, because again, San Jose ecoed for the op. Now they picked up an op, so they've got duel, and they took this without really losing too much in the grand scale of things. So they've set themselves up for success. But the question
they only committed the Omen ult that round. So Tour de Force isn't online, but it's online for Boise State, and they committed immediately. They still have the Hunter's Fury that they've had for about 2 rounds and still don't use it. Sky's getting aggressive with his own operator that he bought again gets taken down.
It's not the time you take this trade, Boise State.
Yeah, especially when you know that they have at least 2 operators. This is where you probably want to play the most defensively, not say, all right, I'm just going to go push their spawn as hard as I can.
Owl Drone gets the intel onto Shells, then goes down to Nasi. Oh, this is all just crumbling in front of their eyes. As they get some intel for Dreammaker to potentially find an angle with the shock bolt, but finds himself getting chipped away by the KO. And this is so tragic now with Panda looking to try and get that reposition, potentially with the Shrouded Step, doesn't fully commit into it, more so using that again as the decoy, and goes down with a side flank here from Hyder. Oh my.
San Jose is trying for the reverse sweep right now. Boise State had such a commanding lead, and San Jose's just brought it back.
Oh, this is where... All right, so...
Guys, this is best of 5. It's okay. We still have, another 2 maps.
Please don't throw that curveball at me because I didn't know I was ready for that one. Okay,
No.
But seriously, when we talk about this, though, in Valorant, you talked about Doc's keys to the game. Dominate your angles, and then spend and peak wisely. The peaks from this and the time and investment spent into these engagements have started to fall away from you, Boise State. Listen to Doc.
I mean, why else would we give the keys to the game? They are keys to victory. But Boise State playing a little bit safer. I want to say that wall was definitely a strategy that we've seen them use in the past, but when they've had a little bit more breathing room here, because they're losing it quickly, and San Jose is also playing a lot more slow and methodical at the moment, which is probably putting Boise State just getting their nerves up of time is getting short, when are they going to push? And Skies with the shorty, just not even going for a full buy.
At this point, they can't. They can't afford to. They have to be cost effective here because they're looking for the long haul. Because if San Jose gets this win, it puts Boise State now in the same perplexing position that we saw earlier when it was Boise State having the 10 score. And they're playing this so patiently and waiting for San Jose to move in. Dark cover comes out, though, so they are committing this. And I like the fact that it was a little bit further out for Boise State because they can maneuver around this. Oh, Calvin
D. What?
Okay. So they see the instants come out, and now they all aggressive.
One for one.
They've got the instant.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Through the smoke,
they find him through the
it?
dark cover.
3 to 4. Spike is down, still holding on to Hunter's Fury, which I kind of wish would have been committed by now for San Jose. Very risky play with
Skinny
the
your
striker.
Teeth, Skinny
Stinger.
your teeth. And now attempting to try and cross.
The heel
nice
keeping him
illusion
alive.
And evade of the flash. And now Shells. We highlighted you, friend. We've talked about you. Doc's commented about you.
Oh.
You gotta come in big. Shells comes in
One
with a shot
remaining.
onto Hyde, but goes down.
Protect him no matter
Calvin
what.
D is going
Protect the
to be able
president.
to cover the backside to not
He
allow
get
the
it.
defuse to be denied. And Boise State now pushes themselves
Oh.
to a match point
No, he gets
position.
a
And they
both.
lose 2.
He knew he was pushing right, and he still held the left angle.
So, side note topic. So are the keys that Doc have more like modern day keys, like where you like use them to like scan, or is it like old timey like vintage keys?
I think it's a
I just
digital
want to throw
key.
that curveball at you. It's a digital key. Okay.
It's a
so
digital
Doc's a little
key.
bit more modern. All right, cool. Okay, I like that.
He
like
keeps
that.
up with the times. Although
That's-
he and I
that's a
definitely
great
only talk about Heroes of the Storm all the time. It's fine. We keep
know,
up with times.
We keep up with times, but still remember the good olds. As you now
Yes.
see in this moment.
The last good
The
old.
five-
Fight me about
Right,
it.
the last good old. As you now have this being the moment. Panda
Ooh.
getting the elimination early is huge, but there is retaliation by San Jose with the towards
Spike goes down as well, even through the smoke.
Panda in the smoke manages to survive through it, and now they've eliminated that rendezvous. John taking
Ooh.
shots and finding Calvin. They're not out of it yet.
Tour de force and another smoke goes down. It's all down to Shells, the player we highlighted for a reason, even though he dies. But that's another ultimate burn for San Jose there. But, you know, they have 4 of the 5, so. Whereas Boise State doesn't have a single one. And Calvin, in 2 rounds, was not able to charge res, I'd like to point out.
You know, Calvin. I'm kidding.
I was just
We-
waiting for
we
you to
were-
just say Alvin at some point and start screaming it like the 3 chipmunks, but no, it's fine.
I actually thought so. I can't
Let's
believe that you were
go!
on the
Same
wavelength.
wavelength.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's hope that Boise State's on the same wavelength to clean this up because they are just one
Oh,
round away. They
oh.
lost the one previously, and Khan now trying to throttle down this A-long position to strip another round away.
Boise State unable to buy is hurting here. I mean, they were only able to get some secondaries and mostly no armor. Able to scout out the KO and survives by teleporting away.
Oh no, they're stuck in the corner. The frenzy is there from Dreammaker to at least punish some of this, but again, this is that critical moment. They just need to try and eliminate as many as they can. This should be San Jose's round to put it at a 12 and 11, but the next round as they get a full buy should change the outcome here.
Should.
Boise State
Ooh.
gets the pickup. Operator in hand. That is a huge gain right now.
Yeah, but at this point, San Jose has the spike down and should be sitting pretty confidently after getting that elimination as well. Boise State in a 2v4 situation. At least they have the operator and pick up 1, but they lose Shells in the process.
I need to see Skies save the op, hide, let this round finish, pick that up, full buy. Boise State comes in and tries to get this last round. That's literally what has to happen. They cannot give this up.
Yeah, all the pressure's on Sky right now. This is literally the definition of a round of save the op, don't go for kills, don't be aggressive, just don't and stay. Oh, that's such a bad angle to hold as well. Finds one.
No!
No!
No! They get the flank, so they lose the op. All right. Okay. So Boise State. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got for eco?
Still have
Okay,
an
so full
operator.
buy. So basically full buy. It's just the light armor. That's the only thing that they couldn't manage to because they wanted to keep the operator. So now, Boise State has committed. And look at the bank that San Jose has after these wins. That's what's the concerning part, is they will have everything that they need with 4 ultimates to snowball on to this point. So Boise State has to be able to go toe-to-toe here to prevent this from going into overtime rounds.
I mean, thankfully, Boise State has been able to build up 3 of their own ults from the prior round, but the fact that San Jose has just been holding on to their 4 will bring out the KO ult finally. Still holding on to Hunter's Fury, which has been the longest, but possibly very hard push on to C. Might be a debate here just because I haven't really seen any engagement yet.
No, Panda had to commit both of those dark covers to make sure that they could get out of there. There was some fire already down that C position. Goes for the shot and gets taken down. That was such a risky play, and Panda gets punished for it. Dreammaker now acknowledging that there could be somebody in the middle position getting some shots. The shot start manages to dwindle the health value, so they've got a chance to compete. Hits 2 with the Hunter's Fury.
And
finds one from downtown. Eliminates John, and now you've got Boise State in a position, but is punished 3-3. The daggers are online, and Sky is ready to unleash.
Daggers are online for both sides, and the res comes out. Hunter's Fury came out from San Jose as well and missed, but the double daggers from Kane. Or God, whatever.
Up top with the updraft. San Jose survives, gets the triple of their own, and we go into extra innings.
Boise State, if that was the round to win,
tragic.
that was
This
it.
is so tragic.
And
This was so elusive. You get the updraft into the dash, misses the shot with the operator from Nasi, and just completely turns this fight into San Jose's favor.
Boise State committed every ult they had, but so did San Jose. Boise State definitely had a chance. I mean, Boise State brought out their Hunter's Fury, got an elimination with it. San Jose brought out theirs, was unable to get it, but got a little bit of poke damage to lower them down. So then when the fight really kicked off, everyone was just very low health and only took a couple bullets to get eliminated. So now heading into this next round where Boise State is really hurting for cash. They had to go for another full buy here just to stay in contention with San Jose, who just has such an econ advantage now.
Well, again, since we do go into the overtime, it allows both of the teams to have the same quantifiable economies that they can use to spend into this. So this is where it all comes down to strategy and just sheer skill when firing, since it is an even playing field for both. And with this adjustment onto the attacking and defending, Boise State has been able to play both attacking and defense very well. But San Jose at this position now defensively will look to try and punish Boise State as they move in up towards this A position, cautiously going to watch these corners and see if they can find anything. Not yet taking the full swing yet, even checking these inner corners where they've been punished before by San Jose.
As soon as the first shot is fired, it's sprint to point as quickly as possible as the recon bolt was destroyed. He dashes onto point, loses one, trades out. They have control of site. Spike can go down here, clears out Hell as well.
Nice.
That's the operator down.
Oh no, the KM is going to be able to clean up with John 1-for-1. Panda has the opportunity to clutch this out, to get the advantage and will. And now puts themselves once again on the match point. Even sprays for the salt. Okay, as we talked about,
rightfully deserved
in the Giga Chad, it's actually just Panda because the salt shaker has been shown.
Swung that angle with 2, gets both of them as John Hand teleports in and then loses the gunfight. I mean, Boise State, skin of their teeth is at match point right now because they must win by 2. San Jose, it's... I hope this is not a repeat of prior matches where they go on for way too long, but Boise State has the chance to really dethrone the #1 seed here and take a victory from them.
And with the dark cover
Oh, Spike's going down.
Spike's actually already coming down. They've got to be over by this 8 position. Oh, no, it is in the mid.
Dashes out, gets her as well.
Swifting into the smoke, but they're eliminated. San Jose with only 3. They have more than enough here, unless they have the Hunter's Fury and potentially this KO Nokel Man to prevent them from actually getting the defuse. Skies comes in from the side with the
5
Phantom.
bullets remaining.
Flash onto 1. As you,
No,
they
he gets it.
Okay, there
That's
it is.
it.
There it is. That's it. That's going to be it. San Jose finally brought down. GG's in the chat. Boise State has come out on top in this best of 3 against San Jose, who has been noted as one of the top teams for this region and has an upset brought to them. And what a well-rounded game of 3 maps between these two.
I mean, if that is not the definition of a matchup of by the skin of their teeth, they come out with a victory against San Jose from last year being practically the #1 collegiate Valorant team and representing USA internationally. Now Boise State is able to take a round and now a game away from them before even the quarterfinals. The target on Boise State's back is going to be huge now because they're wearing that crown of just, we beat San Jose, come at us. And it's just going to be like, okay, so everybody's going to.
And the other thing, too, to really also note is, again, San Jose played stellar. Like, they really did, even though they didn't get this win. And they were also with 2 subs, just as we had subs come in, you know, from what we've seen from Boise State and changing up the roster. But whether or not that is going to be a defining factor as they move into the quarterfinals, this is still a moment to say, okay, like, we've taken down the team. That is a stable foundation for yourself to say, no matter what they brought, we were still able to come out on top. We played to our strengths. We were able to outmatch them and start to better understand their tactical know-how and their strategies that were very formidable for them previously and have really adapted in the moment. That's the biggest thing, is how Boise State was able to evolve over the course of these 3 maps was so critical for them to be able to take this win. And again, really hats off to all of these players and coach with the keys to the game, the modern type that'll get you into any futuristic door.
Well, something to also look forward to is now coming out of this win against San Jose, going into the quarterfinals, Boise State is going to be taking on New Mexico.
Okay, so New Mexico, I've not had the chance to see them prior, but the biggest thing is knowing that you've been able to take this team down, carry over everything that you've done today. Skies, along with Calvin D, have really stepped up into this position. The Sage is actually working very well from them, and I was really impressed at their synergy, including it, but would be curious to see if they also do have a alternative agent pool if they seem to find themselves being outmatched in that composition, since we have seen this been a little bit more of a rush type of meta, aggression onto the point, hard covering of smokes, or even utilizing that breach play as well, which has been subbed in. So those are just a couple of questions that I have going into the quarterfinals aspect of it. But regardless, Boise State has really been able to elevate themselves and are quite a contender going into this.
Yeah, and one thing I think Boise State will also be putting a lot of work into going into this next matchup is learning how to counter a Cypher on Breeze, or was it on Ascent or whatever it was. It just caused them such a huge problem on that map that they have been very dominating on, especially when attacking. So having a Cypher just throw a wrench into everything, because he's very much out of the meta right now. That's the first time we've seen him pretty much all season for our matchups. Yeah. So hopefully we see Boise State kind of get used to more alternative picks of agents that might throw them for a loop. But as we get ready to close out tonight's broadcast of some Mountain West Valorant, I have to ask, player of the game.
Panda. I don't even hesitate.
Without a doubt.
Chad Panda.
I mean, my go-to is always going to be Dreammaker because he brought out the Odin. So in my heart, he will always be it. But Panda, without a doubt, I mean, I have to, just from being on the same wavelength as you, I know the #1 play for Panda is going to be the fact he didn't look in the window and just kept walking past of just, I don't need to look. I'm fine.
I mean, and again, if we really want to give credit, though, because we commented on it earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if it was maybe Shells because of what they've contributed into this, or like you commented, Dreammaker, who is actually going to be the selection. Odin for the win, and also this 3-piece they got here at the end of it was just nutty. Like, again, we can't discredit it. I have a loving part of me for Panda because of what they've done, but again, you cannot discount anything from Dreammaker because they have found some miraculous value throughout these 3 maps and is not at all to be discharged to the side because they are the MVP so far from everything they've been able to contribute into this.
Yeah, so Dreammaker is going to be the player of the game, which is brought to us by the Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Dreammaker is going to be the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game, finally dethroning Panda as the go-to player of the game for this Valorant squad. And at the same time, I would still love to highlight both Calvin and Skies, who's 2 players we've been talking about again and again and again. They came in as the substitutes, pretty fresh off the new block of 2 months with and playing many months without on the Halo squad and coming back and really coming back with a vengeance. As you mentioned, the Sage was a huge playmaker for Boise State. They play around and was really well utilized. Same with Skies on the Jet. It had some iffy operator plays, but still ultimately came out on top for a lot of those engagements. So Boise State kind of secondary roster worked out for them very well, especially against the #1 team. Was just huge strides for them. So huge congratulations, and your closing thoughts for the night.
I mean, keep it up. Keep this day's level of gameplay and carry it with you, because you want to make sure that you don't allow yourself to become comfortable thinking that you've managed to be able to take down this significant team in the region. If you become even the slightest bit idle, it will come to bite you. So moving forward, just to continue to be on your A game, play to your strengths, utilize those keys that Doc continues to emphasize, because it is going to bode very, very well entering into that quarterfinals where you have to start off going against New Mexico.
Well, some final words of wisdom from Caster Pro himself, Rich Rad Pontillo. But we're going to go ahead and close out tonight with our top 5 plays, which are presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 sign-on bonus for your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is the best team to join out there, and make sure to reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming, and have a good night. But gets taken down by Hyder, so still trading 1-for-1, which is a trade Boise State can now afford because they used the res last round. This is the perfect round to have it. So now all of the ultimates are coming out. Huge spray and pray, lands the lucky bullets. Healing comes out, dodges the op shot, but takes it
Cleared. That will be a free plant and now a 3-to-3 duel.
And making sure to cover the butts. Jet comes flying in, still hasn't been taken down. Finally will get taken down, as well as the chamber. But John Hamm is able to pick up one onto Panda. Had the Marshall unable to hit the, as Hyder picks up 2. Making that 3 against Boise State. Getting overly aggressive. The
This
heal
is such a difficult position, because your vision is so obscured with the Viper's Pit, with double walls, and this completely gets turned on its head. What a play! All 3. Dreammaker spot, but they have so much influence throughout these games that just are unnoticed or unrecognized, and you have to give credibility to so many of these. Great recon bolt to start, to know that there is a stack over by that A-long position. So Boise State can now respond defensively, gets 2 easy pickups here.
I'm just going to smoke it out.
Paranoia comes out with the smoke.
A lot of utility.
Skies gets clipped. So now has to be super cautious, but is able to withstand it. The wall actually funnels them into this small position.
And he
the
gets
choke
it.
point is capitalized on, and Dreammaker gets all